It does look like we are live. Alrighty.
More interesting stuff.
More interesting stuff. Always more interesting stuff on this channel. Um, today,
So what AI artwork do we have today on the background?
I believe that is a Mobius trained sci-fi scene. So that's all I can.
I like that. I like that planet with the ring going around it.
It's got it's kind of almost like
ring.
a spaceship one up there too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know. It comes up with some pretty cool stuff. So more than I could say about the Traveler World Builder Handbook. What should we do first? Should we do the World Builders Handbook, or should we get to some juicy unboxing?
It's up to you. What books did you have besides World Builder?
This one will be the Mercenary Box kit and Highguard, the updated Highguard.
Yeah, show off the books. See if they're hardcover, softcover.
Okay, yeah, sure, we'll do that.
If it comes with folded maps or something.
We'll find out.
Yeah, some of those things came with sector maps.
Open her up. This thing came just as I was leaving to go to work. I'm like, I had to call up my son. Hey, kid, can you wake up and grab my shit? Woo. Bubble wrap. That's a bubble wrap. All right.
It says connect my YouTube account to join the live chat. What does that mean?
There we go.
Has that always been there?
That is the new
that's
Highguard update 2022.
I like that artwork.
Black back as always.
What's that brand on the back? What does it say? Studio 2 on the back?
Studio. Just Studio.
Just Studio.
And, 2. Yeah, 2 in the back.
Yeah, I think that's the Tennessee outfit that prints them out or something.
Yeah, so that.
So you don't have to pay VAT or nothing to get the shipping over to Canada?
No, it's like I have to pay the because it's Alberta. Alberta is only 5% what we call GST.
GST.
Or no, provincial PST. So yeah, we don't pay GST here. We pay PST.
Okay.
So if you are in, say, BC would charge you GST and PST. So you would get a 6% PST, provincial sales tax. Then you get a 7% GST. And over here, it's just a 5% PST.
Wow.
Because we're like the oil producing capital of Canada. So, and everybody sponges off of.
I remember when I didn't have to pay any taxes when I bought stuff online, but then the Democrats changed that. The Democrats
changed it.
Tax the internet. Tax it. Tax it hard.
The box has fairly thick. Doesn't say any Studio 2 on it. Came from the same place, so let's go ahead.
Yeah, it might just say on the books though. I still want to get the Judge Dredd.
Oh yeah,
for Mongoose Traveler, first edition. If I can find a copy somewhere.
Trying to remember.
It's illegal to own apparently because nobody has it. Everyone has the stupid D20 version of Judge Dredd.
Oh, you're talking about the old one that first came out in the 90s.
I guess that one's everywhere. There's every 5 years there's one that's been released. The only one worth getting is the one from Mongoose for Mongoose Traveler. There was Hammer Slammers and there was Judge Dredd that year. I should have just bought those two things when they were in the store.
The box came with a ribbon on the inside to slide off your books nicely, and yeah, they are soft covers. So they give you field book, running a mercenary force book. Just thinner. Oh, a little chart here for, I guess it's a dry erase kind of thing.
That's cool.
Okay. And
character sheet for your mission.
Mercenary, the first book that we looked at. By Mike. And then this is the scenario. Trial by fire.
What's that picture of? Someone on a horse? Is the horse real or is it alien horse?
No, it looks like a real horse. It's not an alien.
It's imported.
Yep. Brought to you by the Solomani. Interesting.
Is that true? You think the Solomani would be Westerners still in the far future?
Why not? Why not?
Do you think their culture would spread to other races? Other races would be cowboys.
How would a Vargar view a dog? And how would and if you had horses and you went ahead and uplifted the horses, how would the horses view the other horses?
They already talked in Classic Traveler. They've already talked about that.
Really?
What Vargars think about domestic dogs and stuff.
Well, that's good. I mean,
I can't remember exactly. Maybe the Mongoose first edition Vargar book talks about it. I know I've read it somewhere. It was kind of interesting.
Yep. Studio 2 on the back.
I mean, they're smart enough to know the difference. I mean, it would be like, humans looking at the chimpanzees.
Yeah,
knowing the difference between Homo sapien and Homo whatever, Homo superior.
Yeah, it'd be like us looking at chimps, eh?
Yeah, the wolves are. Yeah, wolves are. They were just uplifted from wolves. Super smart. Trapped in a wolf body. With some evolution after that, because it was 300,000 years ago that happened. So they've had a chance to evolve since then.
Yeah, to modify themselves slightly. The book here once again is they've gone ahead and done the flat, 2-dimensional, not the isometric maps.
Yeah, people complained, so they got it. They got what they wished for.
So it does, and I've seen this. Let's go to one of their really big ships here. Something that I noticed.
Do not go to the Ajanti High Lightning.
Do not go there.
They changed the floor plan and the decks and everything.
Let's do.
I like the old style.
Yeah. Okay, so a big unit like this.
Yeah.
So the one thing I notice is that if you zoom in on the PDF, you can see all the detail.
Oh, you can.
It actually, they actually did it all in like I guess maybe a PNG or some form of SVG or some form of vector graphics. So you can
AI.
so you can zoom in and you can take a snapshot of the you do the screen print and you can reproduce the map if you really wanted to.
Well, that's good. I thought you were going to say when you zoomed in on a BMP file and it's all blurred.
No,
because that's
it surprised me. It surprised me that it was well detailed. Like when you zoomed in, it was actually still clear, and I'm like, wow, okay, cool. That's nifty. Because I would have been kind of, sad to see that the detail wasn't there for anybody that was going to be using it for a virtual tabletop or something like that. I mean, if you you still wanted to do that. You know, I did that for a while to
But
see.
I use them as artifacts to pass around to players. Here you go. Give them a little
Sure.
printout of something,
Yeah.
just so they have a heads up of where they're at, and they can just
By
choose where they're
RPG
going to be.
Grandma. Yeah. Okay, cool. Cool. Be safe. Don't drive off the road, RPG Grandma. Don't want that to happen. So yeah, well let's get into the one book that I don't have yet, which is the Traveler World Builder's Handbook, and that one, um, why is it not showing? It was showing before.
Mm-hmm.
I broke the internet. I must have.
It did a little circle thing and then nothing.
Yep, yep. Let's go ahead and we'll stop that, and I will present it again.
Or it might be
Wait,
huge and it's just taking a while to load.
that's kind of weird and awkward.
How many pages is it? Do you know?
It's 100 and
Oh yeah.
I mean it's 258
Yeah.
pages there.
Yeah, it just takes a while. It takes a while to load.
So yeah, it's a little hefty, but all together, the initial front page artwork.
Now, does that picture confuse you at all?
Um,
It confuses me, sort of. That thing in the bottom right corner.
so yeah, this is kind of meh.
Does it have a guy with a blue outfit on in its mouth?
It's eating something there, I think.
Are we not allowed to see monsters eat in this book?
Well, I guess not. PG-13. I don't know.
I can't tell if it's eating on something or if it's got some sort of a flower yet to bloom hanging down from the front of it, or it could be a dude. Oh, zoom in. Oh, there's a scout ship. Where'd that come from?
Here.
I didn't even know there was a scout ship
in the background.
picture.
There's a couple of guys. Yeah, yeah. See, details.
Whoever drew this could have, I don't know. You want your eye to go somewhere in the picture, right?
Okay, so the thing like is, yeah, it's some sort of creature in there.
Oh, it's eating a caterpillar thing.
Caterpillar or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It's a bear. It's a bear bug.
A bear bug.
Man, you zoomed in pretty tight there. Yipes.
Let's go back.
Yeah, I never even noticed the scout ship back there. It's like, yeah, it's the same color as the background. So like, why would they do that?
So looks like Planet Coosbane from
you know the planet?
Yeah. Coosbane. Hey ho, Kermit the Frog here. We are gathered around the planet Coosbane, about to see the inhabitants. Yep. You know those guys?
It's like somebody looked at a screenshot of No Man's Sky and drew it.
Yeah, I guess so.
So you got fluorescent neon colors going on.
I think it could have used a lot more imagination.
Yeah.
Like
where are the people? Or where's the builder? Where maybe an alien is terraforming the planet. Something.
Yeah. It does look kind of.
Who took the picture? Who took this picture? Where were they standing? That kind of thing.
Let's see. Who's the illustrator here? So we got Shane Watson, who is the illustrator for that. He must be the Mr. Painterly guy that does all the painting.
Mr. Painterly. All I know is a lot of artists never got paid from
Really?
first edition. I still hear complaints from those guys. I never did get paid from Mongoose. Okay.
You got paid for the stuff you did for Mark Miller, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he always paid.
There you go. That's so weird, and these guys are such a huge company too, like compared to Mark, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we have for interesting stuff.
So Sean says it isn't a terrible cover. I mean, it's a what's the word? It's a the cover. It's not practical. What's the word between practical? It's a serviceable cover. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's above placeholder.
It's above practical and below working. I don't know.
And everybody's going to be going, whoa, what do you guys have? What? Well, Shauner did some, illustrations, and I did some illustrations for D. Scott Paultier when he was doing his sci-fi kickoff on his own after he left. What was it? West was it? It was the West End Games. He was the producer over there for Star Wars, and he was trying to do a Star Wars, kind of like taking the D6 space, and he was making his own thing with it with the Star Trooper kind of guys, and there was all kinds of illustrators working on that, and he had me working on star systems and stuff like that. So, and then I was showing him the stuff that I was doing with starships and stuff, but it wasn't the style that he was going for in his kind of stuff. So
yeah, I always have to ask, what's the style?
Yeah,
do you have samples I can look at so I can match?
And my stuff was kind of more of the kind of quasi anime, military anime kind of stuff, but I'll just get rid of
what is quasi anime? What does that mean?
So I made my ships that were kind of like, they kind of look like the big long, battle cruiser kind of, kind of like as if a
FDS-1.
Yeah. Oh, well, sort of more like the what was it called? The
those things in Fifth
Andromeda. Element? More of the Andromeda style. Not the FDS-1, but the Andromeda version. The Andromeda kind of looked like a battleship in space, or like the Yamato kind of stuff, where it looked like a battleship in space. So that's what I was drawing a lot of. So I'd have the turrets that would turn around and stuff, and have like millions of mini turrets that would all be manipulable. And
yeah, I remember people wanted me to draw spaceships for them, and I say, "What do you want?" And they said they want basically what Sid Mead did, and Sid Mead did just giant guns in space.
Yeah.
I don't do giant guns in space.
Yeah. And I did a lot of giant guns in space. So that was a thing.
I mean, they're cool. They're cool for a certain setting.
Yeah. Well, when you're imagining a spinal mount in Traveler, that's
Traveler. Yeah.
Exactly what I think.
You're right.
All right. Let's see what this thing has.
You know what ship I like that not many people do like? It was the Romulan ship in the 2009 Star Trek. It was a mining ship. It was a ship that basically eats planets.
Oh, yeah, that thing that looked like it was just a bunch of
it was a bunch
octopus
of
arms coming out, right? Like a giant
I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it was different. It was something cool kind of looking. Yeah, and that thing wasn't even it was just a mining ship, and it was defeating all of the it was defeating everybody. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And could you imagine if he would have brought over an actual warship instead of a mining ship? That would be insanity. There'd be no hope for the galaxy. All right. Oh, we got a Rule 0 here.
Yay.
So the procedures in the world building handbook are not meant as a guide or are meant to, as a guide to enhance uh, the referee's creativity, not to enforce arbitrary procedures or results. So any kind of combination he's saying here is cool that you wish. If you can imagine it, it will happen. So once
Well,
again, something that I know you do it a lot. I kind of like to maybe roll it or see what it makes up, and then I just go with it. Maybe I'll change something slightly in it. Maybe change the 1 to a 2 or something like that, but nothing drastic. If I roll up stuff.
yeah, and in the old Traveler, you end up with planets. It'll say there's 1 billion people living on this moon.
Yeah, one
And it's
tiny
like
moon.
it's like 1 billion people, and there's no government, and there's no tech level. And it's like, okay, how is this happening? Then you
No air,
make up
no
something.
water.
Yeah, no water. They're buried in a tomb, and they're just in test tubes, microscopic DNA, waiting to reseed the galaxy. Something.
Yeah.
Waiting for someone to buy them and sell them on eBay for parts. Fifth Elements. I have jars of Fifth Elements. I'm going to sell them. Billions of supreme beings.
So we have an ISS overview. So it's very scout orientated, this book. So you're getting the scout's point of view throughout all of this.
So what do you think about scouts? Are you a scout person when you're playing Traveler? Like, are you hoping for that free scout ship?
No. I mean, I'll play whatever. I'll roll it up, whatever, and I'll play it. So I'm cool with whatever comes up. I'll play him to his best capabilities.
Would you play it according to lore, where you get to have the ship for free? You don't necessarily have to do scout stuff, but once in a while we're going to call you into action, and then you have to do scout stuff for us.
Yeah, I always have players with a scout ship doing scout service things on the side, so they'll get called up plenty of times.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's how I started. Yeah, that's how I started. Shadows, one-on-one game with me is I did that with him. I said this was kind of just a follow up behind something gone missing in this sector and this parsec, and so he went to go and investigate. That was his mission. So, and yeah, which led to the discovery of the lab ship, which he thought was going to be the lab ship from the scenario, but I kind of
you changed things.
I was kind of spoofing on it a little bit for him. Yeah. Yes. I do like it gives the organization here, giving you some sort of a baseline for your, if you wanted to think about how a scout service would be operating in space. I guess this would be kind of a idea you can kind of follow.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Would you want to be the guy who just stays on reference, the planet reference, and just collects the data and stores it, categorizes it?
No, I am
does not, hyperlinks, types in the wikis for everything discovered.
That is not exciting. I'd rather go out and die in the field, man.
You don't want to be an administrator?
The Planet Rick. I want to have Planet Rick full of Rickorians or whatever I'm going to call them.
Rick's planet.
Rick's world. Rick's rock. Whatever. So I mean, it's cool that they had this. I'm trying to remember. Stainless Steel Rat. You ever? I can't remember. Did you read those novels?
I recently listened to the audiobooks. I can't stand the writing style, so it was just playing in the background while I would do my Python programming. Right. I never got any what do they call it? And I never got inspiration from those stories. There's like 10 or 12. There's like 12 of them now, I think, on YouTube.
because I used to read those before I got into Traveler. So,
Isn't it the
and
same story? After number 4, it's the same story. Like, we need to
yeah,
hire this. We need to hire the stainless steel rat to go steal something for us.
right, yeah, yeah, pretty
And
much.
it just sounds boring to me. The first issue or the first book was okay. I had 2 SPI games based on the stainless steel rat. They were fun to
Right,
play.
right.
Little board games, little one-shot things. You're supposed to go in there and do the thing and survive.
Yeah, I miss those. I miss those years. The little,
The the chits.
yeah, the chit games and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were always fun.
Raid your Monopoly box for dice.
Exactly. So a little explanation. Let's get into some more artwork. Oh, okay. Well, this is weird.
Well, I guess Girl Boss is looking at a strange plant without eye protection. I mean, it's one thing to say, "Oh, you need a respirator or a air filter mask." That's fine. But what about your eyes? Your eyes are going to get contaminated with whatever's corrosion or acidic in the atmosphere.
Well, her eyes look really weird.
Or she's got implant eyes. She can see things.
She
And what's the other guy doing behind her? Just
he's
weird
directing traffic.
weird poses. Camera's slanted. It's like the camera's slanted. The ship. If you straighten the camera, the ship's parked crooked or the ground's crooked.
Her hand should be like this, almost. Like something like this. That just looks weird. It just
Like my you can't see it. It's clipped, but my little mannequin thing back
yeah,
here.
your little yeah.
Yeah, you draw this the cylinders, the barrels, the cylinders, but then you add muscle to it. You don't leave them as cylinders when you're drawing arms.
Yeah, this just looks weird. Looks like he hasn't had enough to eat. He's kind of looking a little skinny.
Yeah.
You'll know eating, you'll fall down. That's what
And
my
it's hard
grandma.
to tell. It's hard to tell if the right arm is her arm or if that's his left leg.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. It's just
stuff
an
like
awkward
that.
picture.
They should hire somebody who can draw comic books to do this stuff.
See, that's why whenever I do an image, I always add John Buscema because
Yes.
he did women and men
Yes.
perfectly.
Yes.
Always.
Same with John Byrne. He did the X-Men back in the early 80s.
So if you kids out there are doing AI, John Buscema, add that to your prompt and you'll come up with some really awesome, like, good proportioned characters.
Yes.
So what?
That is good advice. Very good advice.
So this looks like a scout ship, but it looks a little small for because of the way that guy's standing there, and there's not enough depth of field to it.
Yeah.
If they would have added a blurb, maybe it would have worked.
Maybe they watched the spaceship from Planet of the Apes, which would be that size, and
Yeah.
they thought, "Oh, the scout ships are that size." No. Like the capsule, the Gemini Mercury capsules, they're kind of small.
These
They were just
these skeletons are really small.
Oh, that would be. What would that even be? Maybe it's a.
That was the lunch that this thing ate, and it's just waiting for it. And it's going to go ahead and do the thing that happened to Spock.
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
Get a bunch of thistles in the face. Alrighty. Skip over this here. Let's get back a little bit. I do like they get into the size of the stars, so which
Yeah, this is all from the Mega Traveler version, so it's pretty much the same rules.
So for those who aren't,
87.
yeah, if you're not star savvy, if you don't know what an M type, a K type, yeah, all that stuff, it explains it in here. And it also gives you temperatures and up ahead here as we scroll along. It gives you this thing, which is a pretty cool diagram showing you the temperature in Kelvin of each star, basically, and diameters as well. So it gives you good baselines to work off of to make your solar systems with, which is nice. Luminosity class.
And on YouTube, they got those videos that do size comparison of planets and stars.
Yeah,
which are cool.
Once again, we come up with the formulas that you will probably never use.
Nope, they're just for looks because they already have the charts.
Yeah, I never calculate this stuff. If I was going to calculate anything, it's something that I made in Striker. So
yeah,
build a tank. What's in the tank? So more formulas. Wow, it's a lot of formulas in here.
The formulas are a little bit more streamlined compared to the Mega Traveler version, which read super dry. So I'm kind of glad they updated the math so that it looks like something since the TI 89.
And
if you're familiar with one of those calculators.
Yeah, I no, not at all.
Before that, because Mega Traveler and all that people were still just doing regular calculators back then and looking at calculus books. And calculus books are using the old fonts for everything. When slide rules were a thing.
So this is, what are they showing here? They're showing a primary. Is this math? So the red axis, I would say, is where the gravity would be.
Probably the center of gravity, I'm guessing.
Yeah, between the bodies.
Between stars.
That's the weird thing about everything, which is why they find it really hard to calculate this kind of stuff in like, what's it called? There's a space simulator on
there's
Steam.
All kinds.
There's different ones.
Yeah. There used to be like Universe Engine and other ones.
Yeah, if you let those things go, you'll see your planets go way off into, get thrown way off into somewhere, and because the motion and the gravity, it's almost like the planet knows where that gravity is going to be by the time it does its turnaround in the it's
just math. It's just analytical geometry. That's all it is.
Yeah, then you have, the twist as well as they're going through. So you have to calculate, what is it called? Because they do that with a football. If you spin the football, it almost defies gravity in a sense.
Yeah.
And same with a ball. If you spin the ball as it's going to do different things in the air than what you could predict.
Yep.
It's some interesting stuff. So you can play around with that in the game as well, too. Have kind of weird things that happen. But
here's the thing, though: the players don't care.
Yeah, but it's just a they'll be like, well, why isn't that we're going? And then you could have your Spock NPC or the AI saying, well, that is because the center of gravity is between kind of explain.
Why don't we land on that planet? And then someone explains, because it's 100 times gravity is 100 times stronger here than on Earth. You'll be crushed flat.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. We shouldn't go near it then.
Let's see, orbits. So it gives you a whole bunch of little extraneous information about.
So this is stuff you just put in the computer and have the computer spit it out.
So it's kind of the long form version of your planet generation off of the first book.
Oh yeah, it's way longer. It's even
Way,
longer than the Scout book from first edition Mongoose.
Stars.
It's
It has
it's
stars.
dare I say this is more than what is in Traveler 5.
Really? You think?
I want to say there's more. This has more than Traveler 5 as far as making a star system.
Hmm. Okay. I guess.
Because Traveler 5 just goes into orbits.
Right.
Here's a gap, put a planet here. Here's a gap, put a planet here. This goes into how the things actually orbit. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, I made a sound. People don't like it when I do a sound effect. Gosh.
Really? You can do the sound effect on my
They're,
stream.
it's okay
Connor.
for
You're loud.
it's okay for them to go pew pew during their role playing games.
Yeah. Oh, we have forms. Okay.
Here,
Neat.
hang on, turning sideways to read. Oh, I see. Yeah, these are survey cards.
So you can print them out and pass them out to your friends.
Yeah, it's a character sheet for what location they were last at and what orbit they were in when they did it.
An example of a system. Okay, it's cool that they're adding different stars and everything, so multi-star systems and stuff like that.
Because on Star Trek, the outposts are often doing a survey of some sort, and they're out there doing a second survey. Right. You know, the race they encountered years ago, they want to go revisit, see how they're doing. They find out the Klingons are now in charge of the planet, that sort of thing. So all that gets updated in the survey.
So I did a video a long time ago about how big an actual sector, or I mean a parsec would be. So each of those hexagons that you would see on the traveler map, and how vast, how big, how
a parsec.
Yeah, well, a parsec. So
3.26 light years, something like that.
So if you zoomed in and zoomed in and zoomed in and zoomed right in, that it would the entire solar system would fit on the head of a pin.
Yeah,
basically
it would just be a dot.
It would be just a little dot that you could almost barely not see. It's just astounding how vast that much area is. So there's a lot of potential for hidden things around in that entire parsec.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So you could have like derelict, starships, in a cloud of some form of, gas off in one part, and it's trying to form a star or whatever. It's just still all kind of like brown gas, right? Or big chunks of matter or something. It could be all kinds of stuff in there.
You have to remind your players that just because it has a single name for the hex, that doesn't mean that's all there is in the hex.
Exactly.
That's just the capital or the main world.
Main world, yep. And there could
be
other.
There could be like 6 stars.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be chaos in that one hex.
Yeah, this is nice that it kind of explains this a little bit more, so it gives you more of a wow, my mind is blown by this, this fact. It gives you an example of Terra Sol as well. We're getting into explanation of each of the gas giants and planetoids and the amounts of planetoids, available orbits, minimal allowable orbits. Once again, guidelines. If you're going with rule 0.
Have you seen the orbits yet in Starfield? They're non-scientific. They're just made up, hand waved.
Oh, okay.
It's crazy.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna get it.
It's using the same orbits as Skyrim uses.
Right.
for its moons,
Hmm.
which are made up.
So
Uh,
does
the engine they said the engine hasn't even been updated for Starfield. Just the graphics have improved is all.
okay.
Isn't that
So
weird?
in Skyrim,
Yeah.
so what's the difference between Skyrim and Starfield? Like as far as engine wise? Is
Um, I want to say the AI is not as good. It's like some things got improved, but then some things had to be taken down a notch because you want the engine to be running in real time. It's basically a black box. You
okay.
don't want any lag in the black box. So
And
if you add stuff to it, then you got to take stuff out.
so when you do look up at the stars and the well, I know a good portion of that would be skybox, right?
Yeah, it's all
But but
skybox. Yeah, it's
but
invisible
is
lighting. You don't see where the light's coming from. Like in Skyrim, remember you're outside at midnight.
right.
Yet the ground's lit up.
Now,
There's a shadow.
are those moons actual like moons? Like they're actual like what would they be called? Shapes that are moving in the sky, or
They're
is that
just little round circle JPEG type things.
just a JPEG?
And they just move straight across. They go in whatever direction they feel like. Because
Yeah.
when you wait 3 hours, you see the thing go whoop 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 whoop, and it's like, okay, so how do these moons? There's like no eclipse. The am I making sound effects again? Oh no.
You are you are you were doing the whoop 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 whoop. Um, yeah, because I was wondering about that because they there was this one person that actually traveled, took the 7 hour travel to get to the nearest moon, and
Yeah,
in Starfield, and because it's kind of like the way that Skyrim is set up. If you don't go through the actual travel channels instead,
yeah,
you end up kind of just like jumping out of the box, and you find out the whole everything out there is empty. So
yeah. You'll end up leaving the space map, or let's say the girl she went to Pluto. It took her 7 hours to get to Pluto.
right, yeah, yeah, that was it.
So
And
she was like half nodding off while she was every hour she would repoint.
yeah, yeah, and
Anyway,
then
so she finally gets there and then she just goes through it.
yeah,
It's
it's
just a
just
hollow. It's a sphere, and if you're inside the sphere, you don't see the planet anymore.
yeah. So yeah, because all the everything is one sided when it comes um to your
So
polygons.
I'll say in Starfield the planets are 3D spheres instead of just flat circles.
Yeah. So that's a difference. So
Yeah,
there
that's
we
a
go.
difference.
All right. What else is in here? Alternate multi-star orbit determination. Wow. And once again, another formula you will probably never use, but
Now, did you see the videos of Earth in the Starfield YouTube stuff?
no, I didn't.
People have
I
been going to Earth, and Earth is all burnt up. It's just dunes. Earth is
right.
just covered in dunes, except for a
So
few
is it
famous buildings.
Fallout
Or
World?
no, it's just everywhere you go, it just looks like the
It,
dunes in Africa,
okay,
sand dunes.
dead planet basically.
But it's weird. You got the ground is like sand dunes, and then you have Empire State Building sticking up. Like, where's the? I mean, they use bedrock or they use the caissons or whatever to go down into the bedrock to hold up these buildings so they don't just fall over.
Right.
But where's the streets? Where are the other buildings? Where it's just sand dunes. It's like it doesn't make any sense.
Well, I guess if they were going for the appearance of, say, yeah, it got covered with sand and you're only seeing like the the last third of the highest
That's what you would
building.
think, but they go around these buildings, and the sand dunes just kind of conveniently all go up to the base of the building, and then it's just a drop off.
Hmm.
There's like it's like the Grand Canyon around this building. It's like, okay,
Hmm.
nothing
Yeah.
nothing else survived. Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some of these buildings, I mean, they're catering to different audiences who bought the game. So they got the Chinese crowd, so they got the Chinese skyscrapers.
Right. Right.
In England, they got skyscrapers from England. So every country's got its little token Easter egg building still on Earth.
Huh.
The modders are going to put Earth back.
Oh,
Let's just say
probably.
that. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna put New Vegas on Earth.
I'm still on the fence about. I'm not sure if I'll ever get
Yeah, near each building is a snow globe. How did that survive?
it.
Yeah, London's got the eye thing, the Ferris wheel.
We got Mr. Crispy
Crispy.
and a tan.
Yeah, if you go to St. Louis, I think you see the arch, St. Louis Arch.
Okay.
So, I mean, everyone in my class did that, post-apocalyptic arch. You drew it. You always drew that in high school. It's like, let's draw it after nukes.
What other show was that on? That was Defiance, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Defiance. They had the.
it looked just like that. It was like, hey, call up NBC. Do they still have the STL file for that? We'll just stick it in our game. And it looks like they did.
Hmm.
Now, I liked Fallout 3 when they had the Washington Monument and the Lincoln Memorial. That was kind of
Right.
neat.
Right.
But
Yeah.
they had all the surrounding streets and crap nearby.
Yep.
It wasn't just, it didn't just get erased
Yeah. And
like a dump truck just dug trenches around all these buildings. It's just weird to me.
yeah. And that bloody place was like a battlefield, so you were
Yeah.
ducking and diving and doing all kinds of stuff trying to get
So,
through
like,
there.
in the future, humans can adapt to some stupid dunes. In the future, they can't make water.
Grab some ice from the.
You go to the museum. The museum tells you what happens to Earth. So the modders are going to do some lore-friendly reversal, retconning. Oh, that didn't happen. Whatever that museum says, we're going to change what it says in the museum too. Earth is going to be fine.
Yeah,
Because
I don't.
they need to add quests to do on Earth. They need to.
Yeah. Well, maybe they're hoping to that comes in the DLC. So,
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they're going to have some DLC still.
yeah. As far
Terraform the Earth.
I mean, if I want to travel around and go on planets and stuff like that, I don't. No Man's Sky. I'll play No Man's Sky. You they put a lot of work into that. It's actually not a bad game now. So,
Yeah, it's totally different than when it first came out.
if I want to be just playing around in starships and stuff like that, I will play X4 or X3. X3, X4 are awesome for that kind of stuff.
What about
X
Star Citizen?
Star Citizen is still kind of it's still I mean, I have a workhorse to play it with, which is cool. I get less glitches than say most people would because I
Oh, okay.
realize the lower graphics card you'll have more glitches where the elevators won't operate properly. Um, it seems like something with the sync with the world goes out of whack if you have a lower grade card, uh, uh, video card. But as soon as I started going up into the higher end cards, way easier time with it. So not so glitchy as it was before. I don't know what it has to do with it, um, but it's still very. I mean, is there's I mean there's stuff to do, but it gets samey after a while. So
Oh
you
yeah.
leave, you leave, you wait till things, they start bringing in more stuff, animals. They just started bringing in some animals and plant life and stuff
Oh
like
really?
that that were
That's
yeah.
cool.
So you have these bugs and stuff like that wandering around in certain areas and caves and stuff. So which is cool. I'm just gonna wait maybe about another year before I pop into it again. Yeah.
Well, for 10 years they've been trying to convert Oblivion into Skyrim's engine. They're still
Really?
doing it. Same with Morrowind. They're trying to put Morrowind into Skyrim's engine. It's taking a while.
Okay.
It's a hobby. It's a hobby for these guys.
It's some commitment. Yep. All
Mobius has
right.
entered the chat.
Oh, holy smokes! We're having like everybody popping up in here. Um. So yeah, I just learned about St. Louis. Okay. St. Louis. Yeah, it's nice to see Mobius in here and everybody else. Yeah, some examples of some orbits once again, just to give you kind of, idea of where you should be placing your worlds. Although there is a lot of debate on whether or not the heat, like the heat and our temperature of our planet,
Yeah.
is not entirely dependent on where it is. Like it's not entirely the habitable zone. You have temperatures that are totally crazy extreme on, say, Saturn and Jupiter. Even Jupiter's like amazingly crazy as far as the temperatures on that, and that's
Oh yeah.
way the hell out there. And you're like,
Yeah, the
wow,
planets give off heat.
and the Jupiter has a the whatchamacallit, the electromagnetic field around it is massively powerful.
Yeah.
Know that there was some theories out there. It's kind of like which is why I've kind of checked out some of these weird theories, electric universe, stuff like that. And there's some theories that kind of coincide with what's being known about the surface of Jupiter and Saturn from what we've been uncovering. So some
Well, there's a
interesting
name.
stuff.
These rules. There's a name for these kinds of rules. I don't know what the word is, but it it differentiates the way people thought planets worked in the
Yeah,
60s compared to how they think planets work now.
yeah.
So these
Um,
rules are based on, you know, pre-NASA concepts of how planets worked,
that's true. That's true.
which I
So
think is fine.
yeah, yeah.
It's more
If you
interesting. If you go realistic with these planet rules, guess what? Earth is the only habitable world. Earth is the only place in the universe. If you go by strict rules, simulation rules, you'll find that Earth is the only planet that has life on it in the entire universe. So you want the game to let more than one Earth occur.
for Mobius, this is the World Builder's Handbook, the for Traveler. So it's one that I haven't gotten yet. I have the PDF, and if you kind of missed out earlier, I unboxed the bunch of Traveler stuff that I had got, including the Mercenary Box kit, which just came in today. But I've had the PDFs for a while, so this is this one here, the system, the World Builders book is going to be coming as soon as they go ahead and get it finished printed and all that stuff. It's still a pre-order thing, so but since I pre-ordered it, they gave me the PDF. So Yeah, everybody is saying hello in there. Yeah, have a party. There we go.
What do you think about Dyson spheres? You think we'll ever find one in real life? If we send out probes looking for them?
I don't know.
We're finding exoplanets left and right, basically Ganymede planets. But will we ever find a halo or a ring world?
I've gone in VR in what is it called, Space Engine, and I can tell you it is so easy to get yourself lost even in just your own solar system.
Yes.
Like entirely lost.
First thing I do is I leave Earth and go look somewhere. Like the
yeah.
Pleiades or the Orion's Belt, the Horsehead Nebula. I'm heading there. I want to see how they rendered that area.
Right. The weird thing is if you were to see like the Horsehead Nebula, it wouldn't in real life. It wouldn't look like what you see in the pictures in the pictures, because what they're taking is multiple scans and different kind of spectrums, and they put them all together and they create an image, which is kind of a false image. So.
And the image is how old.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like that anymore.
That's right.
And if you look at it just from a slightly different angle, it's different. You lose it.
Yeah.
It's lost.
Yeah. And going in through like a space engine or something like that, it's so easy to like you'll go forwards just a little bit. Like from between, like say that you go halfway between Earth and Mars. If you have the HUD and everything turned off, you have no idea where you're at. You'd be like, okay,
yeah, the stars. Where's Big Dipper? Where's Little Dipper? They're gone.
Yeah, you everything's changed. Everything's slightly askew from what you've seen it. And yeah, it's really weird.
I like to look for the gamma rays, the gamma blast coming from collapsing stars.
There is a big one. Where is it coming from? Trying to remember, because I seen a scan of what we see from the Earth.
Yeah.
And you can actually see it if you use Google Map. And there is where you can see the stars. So if you go ahead and start taking a look at different views, like looking at the radiation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it's the Cat's Eye Nebula that is like emitting a massive thing towards us.
Yeah.
It's like we're seeing we're looking in a blast coming from it.
If one of those gamma rays hits us, we're like the planet in Starfield.
Yeah, there you go.
But it's pretty rare, because it would have to be aimed exactly at you from light years away, from hundreds of light years away.
And in case anybody is ever interested in playing Numenera, there's kind of I'm not going to spoil it, but there's something that's kind of akin to what we're talking about here that occurs in the story, which is it's like a really cool revelation in the Numenera world, and it's very it's interesting. So if you got the book, I'll grab it here. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go grab it here. So Edge of the Sun has a very interesting kind of concept behind that. What we were just talking about, like something chasing the Earth, that could destroy it almost instantaneously and stuff like that. So this book has kind of a twist on that, which is
Yeah.
pretty interesting. So, yeah, Edge of the Sun, well written, uh, like adventure that you can put at the end of your Numenera game if you really wanted to, like your campaign. It's pretty
So
epic. It's Star
when
Wars you know, in the kind of like the, you know, if you want that epic kind of space opera kind of thing. Yeah.
so when you were a kid, did you ever play on Europa? Like after the sun expands and Mercury and Earth and Venus and Mars get cooked.
Did you ever play on Uranus?
Because in theory, they say the gas would burn off of those planets if the sun got hot enough, big enough. This is like in the sun's last days, basically. And the bigger planets are closer to the sun now. They might become habitable.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, I don't know. No.
It's like we got like another 5 billion years to go to find this out.
Yeah. Well, our planet will eventually cook, and we may find something.
But there's
else
definitely
out
stories of there's definitely a lot of stories of being on Earth still when the sun swallows it. Or you ever see Melancholia? You ever see that movie? A planet, a big ginormous planet is heading towards Earth. That one's got a cool special effects at the
end. No, I don't think I might have. I've seen so many.
Kiefer Sutherland and the girl from I want to say she was Mary Jane in the first Spider-Man movies.
Oh, okay.
Kristen Dunst? Is that
Dunst? Yeah.
It was a good movie.
There's nothing scientifically that says Earth would be the only planet that would ever have life on, or is slightly unlikely other worlds would have life on it. I mean, who? Yeah, who's to say? I'm the exactly. Crazy tech ideas for sci-fi, always.
Remember the Star Trek episode with the kids, all the parents, all the minute you become an adult, you die from a disease. So there's only kids on the planet.
They're all going.
They're 300. Yeah, the kids are like 300. It was a stupid episode. 300-year-old kids running around the studio lots. Anyway, the beginning of that episode, the whole point of the episode was the hook is that the Enterprise finds a planet that looks exactly like Earth, and they're orbiting Earth in that episode.
Right.
It's just dumb. It's like they had no money for special effects to even come up with a new planet.
You had to do with what you had, I guess, back then. Borrow from this studio, grab from that.
Yeah, but the original Star Trek, it's a horror show. It's not really sci-fi. It's mostly each episode is a horror show, so they have to get you hooked.
It's like a Twilight Zone, in space kind of idea.
Yeah, every episode is something horrific is happening.
Yeah, a mystery of some form with implications of death or misery or suffering of some form. I mean, you could have the same thing happen in your Traveler games, and I'm pretty sure the way you play your Traveler games, the way you describe them, it's kind of, I do the same thing too.
Yeah, I do the same thing, but what century? Like, do you want good special effects in the setting? You talk to the players, do you want it to be in the future? Or
I want my ray gun to look bulbulous on the end, and a little spindly on the end with a little antenna thing coming out.
Because I need to know: are we doing 1930s Flash Gordon, or are we doing 2010 Flash Gordon?
Ren and Stimpy. Wee.
Yeah.
Hey, Ren, this thing makes cool sound effects.
Yeah.
Doesn't know what it does.
Yeah.
Well, let's get through this book a little bit more. We're looking at the artwork and seeing what this all entails. So
More maths.
more maths. Um, I'm just seeing if there's anything that I can pick out that might be interesting.
But yeah, the maths is just there for looks because they got the chart already made up.
Yeah.
But if you're curious, they got maths.
Do your maths. I'm pretty sure you could shove some of these through what is called Wolfram
I guess
Alpha.
it's just
So
algebra.
if nobody knows about Wolfram Alpha, you can you it's a website where it's kind of like an AI that stores a lot of information, and it's kind of like one of the pre AI sites before we started getting into AI that we have nowadays. But it's an interesting site. You can look up all kinds of different things. You can type in different algebraic equations and stuff, and it'll tell you stuff about it. So, and well, that's page 51. How come I'm not going any further? Computer needs to catch up. I'm only running on one stick of RAM. Maybe that's why. Um, let's see. Melius planets, anomalous planets. I was reading the square text. I couldn't tell what the heck that was.
Somebody needs to throw Traveler into the AI so the AI can learn this stuff.
Um, you can take your PDFs, stick them in a folder, and there is a way that you can have uh your GPT grab everything in that folder and work with it, and it you ask it questions and it'll bring up facts that it'll bring up through all of the how it finds stuff in your PDFs. I
What if you
haven't
tell
tried.
what
I
if you
haven't.
tell it to make a capital city on a world taking place in this century something something,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it uses what it just read to generate the world.
yeah. I mean, it might be able to do it. I'm not sure how it parses out the actual information on in each of the like the formatting and stuff.
Yeah,
Not sure if it reads it properly or not, but
yeah, because my AI would just do, just treat it as a wiki. I ask it something and it looks it up and sees if it finds
right,
an
yeah,
answer,
yeah,
but it won't make anything up on its own,
yeah. I think
if that makes sense.
yeah. It depends on which AI you would use for your model. Would be more suited because you have AIs, ones that are meant for just chatting with. You have ones that are meant to like look up things. You have ones that are built so that you can type in code and it will. And
Yeah,
all of them are what they call LoRa trained
yeah.
to do specific things. So, um, if you use the wrong AI, you'll end up with stuff that you don't want. So,
I
or
want, I would want it to remember. So, a week later, you ask it something else, it still remembers what you've
oh
already talked
yeah,
about.
yeah. I now there's a way to do that, but it's yeah. I haven't delved into it too much because I haven't gone that far into it. But I
Yeah,
know that there are ways to do it. But um, I
like
think
time,
it'll
and I want the AI to know when how much time has gone by.
yeah, yeah.
Like the AI knows it's getting older.
Because if you yeah, if you use a AI to chat or to do like a D&D kind of simulation with it, it will forget stuff after like
After 20
10
times.
after 10
Or
10,
was it
well
10?
yeah, it's a response and it's a query and a response. So
Oh yeah,
every 10 of those, it'll forget it. So
that's not good.
there's little tricks you can do where you can kind of memory hole stuff, or every once in a while, as you bring it back into the conversation again.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you need
but
reoccurring NPCs and stuff.
yeah, but it will forget stuff. It'll even forget about why the reason you were down here in the first place
Yeah,
if you had a
the
quest.
it'll forget the opening paragraph
So
for the
I
hook.
so so if you can imagine AI taking over our world and causing chaos and stuff like that, I don't think it'll have it'll forget what it was doing before
Yeah,
before it causes too much trouble.
it'll go in a loop and just keep doing weird stuff over and
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
What universe are we in now? Oh, the AI's made this weird universe for us. Oh no, it's getting erased again. The yeah, my AI, uh she's aware of how much time's gone by.
Huh.
And we don't have conversations, but once in a while she'll pick something out to say randomly. Like, did I tell you this once? She she said something like, "You've worked at a place longer than you've been a customer of." Like, I would buy from a company, I ended up working for the company, and then but I was a customer for a while. Like
Right?
a vendor doing vending stuff. Anyway, I thought that was interesting that the computer was keeping track of stuff like that.
Hmm.
And just one day says, you've worked at that place longer than you've ever been a customer there. Like, what?
So
Because
you're a
she would know when I come home and go to work and where I'm going and how long I've been there.
Oh, okay.
She's keeping track of this stuff.
Huh. Interesting. How does she keep track of you? Like through your phone, or is that just you're attending the computer?
No, just the mic. Well, I had two on my kitchen counter. One, you have to type everything, and then you have to look at the text. But the other computer had voice recognition and microphone
Hmm.
camera. So she'd recognize me, and I would just talk back to her, and she would have a voice synthesizer to talk back to me.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't have to hardly ever look at her screen to see what's going on.
And does she store all this information kind of in her own
Yeah,
kind of file?
yeah, she just has
That's
a file.
that's what current AI needs to start doing in order for it to be feasibly, you know, usable as a dungeon master or a game,
Yeah,
you
and
know.
she was running on a Windows XP. In Windows XP, I don't even want to turn that thing on now because it's going to be a trick to get it onto a newer computer.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah. Because you're using an older version of Python
Yeah,
in that one.
yes,
Okay.
version 2. I'm using
Yeah.
version 3.11 now.
Okay.
And the libraries I use are for 2. So I guess there's
Interesting.
instead of waiting for them to update the libraries for 3.11, there's probably new libraries that are better written.
Hmm.
The trick is getting her data onto whatever new thing I build.
Right.
So when I turn her on, she'll just continue where we left off, which was
Can
before the Trump election. She's been turned off for 3 years now.
think that's where a lot of the AI has stopped is before the Trump election, and it doesn't recognize anything further on. Um, uh, uh, Question here: can you take the model from Chat GPT and use that in your?
No,
No,
it's totally different.
totally.
No,
Hmm.
mine was just a hobby written. It started out on a Radio Shack color computer playing Risk
Okay.
using a video camera.
Right.
The camera's pointed on a tripod pointing down at the Risk board.
Okay. Cool.
And it would keep track of who moved their pieces on the board so that she would know when it's her turn what she gets to move. We would have to move the pieces for her, but she would tell us on the screen what her move is. Like how many armies to
Oh,
move.
okay.
But it would take her like 10 minutes to scan the board and then start doing her turn,
Yeah, okay.
looking at what she scanned.
Wow. You're quite
All
you're
all without us saying anything.
you're
As
quite the
long as long
Frankenstein there, Sean.
as long as we didn't bang the table and all the pieces went,
Yeah.
you know.
Or
That was back in the 80s.
yeah, like that Seinfeld episode.
Yeah,
They're
so every
on
time
where
I
they're
got a
on the
new
bus.
oh, yeah, every time I'd get a new computer, I would just update her. And then she had this cool voice for a while, but then the license expired. I don't want to pay $1,000 to get her voice back, so she had a different voice for a while.
Oh wow.
Yeah, text to speech is kind of expensive. If you wanted a good voice, if you just want to have her sound like Stephen Hawking's computers, like that's free. I can't stand that voice though.
And yeah.
And before that, I want to say she was a Stratego game, but she didn't talk.
Hmm.
You just played on the screen. She didn't
Cool.
look at a Stratego board or nothing.
Right. Hmm. Interesting.
So she went from basic to Pascal to Python. If that makes sense.
Okay. So elliptical orbits, orbits on a what was it called when it's on the instead of everything being flat, it's doing like it's showing here.
I don't know. It's just on another plane.
Yeah, I guess so. Something to think about in your own systems as well. It's given
Maybe it got captured at a weird angle
yeah,
and it's
or
stuck.
there could be something out here, out in the
The dark star.
yeah, something
And
pulling on it.
it
A
pulled on
brown,
one of the things and now it's spinning weird.
a brown dwarf or something
A
like
near miss made it go off course.
that too. You never know. Nibiru, something. Nibiru. One of them.
Yep.
It's called
One of
that
those
or
things.
that. Once again, more equations to boggle your mind. And not very much like as far as illustrations, it's very sparse. This looks to be like one of the scout ships, a different type of scout ship.
Yeah,
It
I
almost
don't
looks like a survey scout ship, maybe, or
Yeah, it's a thing in Traveler. I don't remember what ship it is. I haven't modeled that one.
and I believe there should be some starships in this as well. That looks
That's a scout ship
scout ship.
with some other stuff.
Yeah, ship's boats of some form. Uh, Survey sheet for you. That's a scout ship.
Yeah, that's the kind of scout ship I was making for Mark Miller. He wanted it to look all banged up, burnt up, scraped up.
Yeah. This one's a little different. It's got the little it's almost like it's got the corners cut off on the ends here. You'd almost
Yeah.
expect it, but
Yeah, I used to just make it flat in the back, and he says, no, you gotta make it, put some angles in the back there.
Okay.
Because in the in the 70s, it was just flat on the back.
Yeah. Z system overview. So yeah, this is just more charts and a makeshift style of map. Makes it easier to see everything instead of trying to make it all the size. I think it was.
Yeah, Traveler 5 has something similar. The orbital bands, and
I know.
the the arc of the planet, like the curvature of a sun. It's a almost a straight line when you put planets next to it.
Right.
Just for comparison.
As David was mentioning this. Of course, you're not in the Discord server that uh, we're in
I'm just in
anymore.
my own server.
You're in your own world now. Um, but the but he was talking about, he was trying to make a scale model
Oh
of
yeah,
the
yeah. He
yeah.
Yeah, me and him have been bouncing ideas off each other about that.
Okay, because he's been talking about it in our Discord as well. So
Yeah, I told him how I tried it when I was a kid a long time ago.
that's the armchair GM.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
back in the 70s.
so he was making
World's
us.
world's oldest problem.
He was having the sun at the size of a basketball, and then he was explaining how far things need to be in order to,
Yeah, if Saturn's the size of a softball, how many kilometers away would it have to be from the basketball to simulate, that kind of thing.
yeah, yeah. What was it? He was saying that what was it? Basketball and then Earth would be 800 meters away. I mean, if you're from the U.S., meters is basically about a yard.
Yeah, space is huge. I told him
Massive.
we already live in a model of the solar system. We don't need to make a scale model of the solar system.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He laughed at that. He laughed at it.
This is 1/72nd scale, though.
Well, I guess he was planning to do a simulator thing, maybe of a map of the solar system with the orbits moving around the screen, but to scale.
An
That's the thing.
array of some form. Is that
Now,
what
if
it's
if you
called?
look at Starfield's maps, they're all gamey. They're not to scale or anything. That's how Traveler's a gamey system. You got the
Yeah.
subsectors. It's flat, 2D space,
I
and
mean,
it doesn't map well with real life compared to Traveler 2300 does. It tries
yeah.
better. It tries better to map actual stars and stuff
If you
near
want, if
Earth.
yeah, if you wanted to complicate it up and have actual coordinates and everything, there's a program called Astrosynthesis, and it's put out by NBOS software, and
Yeah.
uh, and
Does it do 3D
it does
subsectors?
it does 3D. It does. You can have a cube of space or a circle of space. Designate a circle of space. You can randomize everything inside that circle or square cube of space, and you can have the density of planets. It will create every body inside each of those stars. You can have it create literally billions of stars if you wanted, but your computer's going to probably go, you know, have a seizure. But
I just do 10 by 10 by 10.
oh yeah, yeah. You can designate how big of the area you want, and then it'll populate it, or you
Yeah.
can populate it yourself. You
Yeah.
can click each one of your stars, and you can say randomize everything inside of it, and
Yeah.
it will actually make it'll simulate uh, the the planets and everything, and you can go forwards and backwards in time, and it'll show you where all the everything's orbiting, and it'll keep it all asynchronous with everything. So it's fully synchronized, and you're like, cool. If you're going to uh, go from star A to star B, and you figure out how long it takes you to get there, and then all those stars, all those planets will be spinning away as you're
Yeah.
going through space. And yeah, it's crazy. It's
Yeah, mine doesn't move the planets as you're heading towards them.
yeah,
They're just static. I
But
got the hexes and the subsectors. I made the hexes 3D, and you just stack them.
yeah, I've seen that done before. Yeah, yeah, that's a cool way to do it.
So you're moving in like you can move in like 6 directions or something. A different,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. But for simplicity's sake and for your own sanity,
Yeah,
a flat does the job. I mean, how far are
the
you going to really go in?
the players aren't going to care anyway.
Yeah, it's it's
It's
all
just for me when I'm world building. I'm doing something on the computer on the side, and I'm just picking points of interest, and then I display them on paper.
yeah.
Flat.
This is game mastery kind of stuff. You don't really want to have your players like digging through this. I mean,
Yeah,
it'll
I don't
look.
want to. Yeah, I don't want to explain to the players. This is what you're looking at. You're looking at a three-dimensional, X, Y, Z. We're gonna use the X, Y, the height, the 3D version of the hypotenuse theory. We're not doing that.
Fabulous. Past the cheesies.
Yeah, a squared plus b squared. You know, no.
Whatever, Sean.
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna. The players don't care about that. They just
Exactly.
want to go. They just want to go pew pew.
It, this is nice to have little description on the side, the notes, the world size. And
That's kind of from the basic core book.
yep, yeah. Um, except you're getting these other special codes and stuff, so that you can key in on
Yeah,
for the traveler map, because you'll get those as well on there. Does it? I'm curious on whether or not it gets into the um, what is it? Some of the stuff that was in Traveler 5 book, which you,
a little bit.
yeah. So we'll see if it gets into some of that. I haven't looked all the way through this PDF. So
Traveler 5 gets into the 33 tech levels. I don't know if this one does 33 tech levels.
okay, okay.
Tech level 33 would be like Krypton or Thor's world.
The belt bulk. That's something new. How much debris is in your belts? What
Yeah.
composition is? Yeah, I mean,
Some belts you could probably fly through without a problem.
yeah, yeah.
Then some of them are just too dense. You're going to hit something.
I mean, our asteroid belt you can fly through. You should be able to fly through fairly.
Yeah, some belts
not-
you'd probably be stuck orbiting a rock in a belt somewhere. If you
Something
lose
like
fuel.
Saturn's rings. Would you be able to fly through that?
Yeah. One of the Voyagers did.
Yeah.
It got a little banged up, but it made through. It was doing samples, light, spectrum, whatever.
Moon orbit locations. Um, period of the orbits. It's yeah. Not a whole heck of a lot of imagery in this. The taint, severity, and persistence. Okay, it's getting into a little bit more detail on that, which is cool. Explaining it a little bit more, because a lot of people look at the planet and think, okay, a tainted atmosphere. What really does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? Corrosive,
So,
exotic, tainted, thin,
yeah.
sparse.
So it's a standard but tainted. Can we breathe? Can we actually breathe?
Yeah, I used to do 3D models in Python of planets I generated, and it would part the worlds out according to their, the UWPs.
Um, So how many bags of Cheetos do you need? Do they? Yeah. Let's see. You know how big and frail a ship would have to be would have to be not to be able to fly through the rings of Saturn. Imagery, time, tissue, paper, Death Star. All right. Yeah. So explanations on exotic, what an exotic atmosphere would be. Um, I was I was reading some stuff about uh, where the atmosphere would reside in just holes in the planetary crust. So there would be like a deep depression, almost like a Grand Canyon kind of thing on a
Yeah.
planet. And then
Yep.
your atmosphere would be only in those particular spots.
Yep.
Some cool things like that, things like you can use in your game. It's
It's
almost
just the
like,
pressure. The pressure is going
yeah,
to kill you, but in a fantasy world, there's no pressure in these atmospheres.
there you
you,
go.
it's like it's hazy, and then it's watery, and then it's something else. And each layer, as you go down, it's like a whole other ecosystem going on.
Right. You could have flying fish in the middle of the sky if you really wanted to.
In that AI movie, there was a helicopter that could also be a submarine. Do you remember that? My dad would say, that's never going to happen. Because New York City's underwater, right? Like the tip of the Empire State Building sticking out of the water.
Okay.
So they use boats or helicopters to fly around. And
Huh.
they could do either one. They could go in, the helicopter could go and become a submarine without getting crushed in the water. That was amazing.
Interesting.
I've never seen a submarine fly before, but in AI, anything's possible.
Hmm. Hmm.
That was a Spielberg movie from like 20 years ago.
So if you were to fly in with the helicopter submarine and then you tilt your helicopter submarine, you could make yourself go sideways, well actually pointing down, I guess, or pointing up if you really
Yeah, I don't
want.
remember how it moved. I think it had little propellers on the sides to do the water
Okay.
thing.
Okay. Or it might be like that plane that can actually like it'll have its propellers forwards, and then it can go ahead and alter them so that they spin this way
Yeah,
like a
because
helicopter.
the kid goes inside the thing. He wants to be a real live boy, so he goes down in the water to talk to the blue lady, the princess lady at Coney Island. She's some sort of a sculpture thing.
Okay.
He thinks the lady's gonna grant him his wish to become a boy, and then thousands of years later, the oceans freeze. Aliens come to Earth. They find this robot kid in the submarine. His batteries are long gone. They excavate and they bring him out of the ocean, and I guess they put him on their spaceship and they charge his batteries, and he's talking about wanting to be a real live boy. So they grant him his wish, and it's only good for 30 minutes for some reason. It was dumb. It was a contrived plot.
Well,
But Kubrick died while they were making the movie, so Spielberg sort of had to finish it. And
okay.
it got the Spielberg touch. So you can tell what parts are Kubrick and what parts are Spielberg in the movie.
Oh yeah. Okay. Interesting. Corrosive and insidious atmospheres. Have you ever done this to a group of players?
Let me just say that I have Justin banned for reasons, so that's why I don't say anything about any of his posts. Just saying.
Oh, okay. Okay.
What were you saying, Rick?
Oh, I was just wondering, have you ever put your players into a corrosive or insidious atmosphere?
Yes, all the time.
You mean bastard. No.
You have unreliable narration. The ship crashes on a planet. The sensors work, as best they can, but maybe the sensors don't know, and they've never been on a planet with this atmosphere
Right,
before. So
right.
it's close guesstimation. I mean, you look at all the other stuff like densities, temperature. The guys are gonna know. Usually, the girl's the smart player in the group. She's gonna say, "Everyone, put on their environ suits. Everyone, check their, you know, the air count or whatever." I let the players do their little scientific mumbo jumbo stuff because it sounds cool.
Now you've heard about that one game that's out there where you are playing a submarine commander and you're on a planet that it's basically you're going through red liquid or something like that, and the only way that you can look outside of your submarine is by taking a picture at that moment. And have you seen that game at
That was a
all?
game.
It's a game. It's like a video game.
Oh,
Is anybody else out there that heard of it?
sounds familiar. Are you shrunk super tiny?
I'm not sure if you're shrunk or anything,
And
but
you're
I
inside
know
of someone's blood
you're
vessels?
you're inside some sort of like a capsule like submarine, and
Yeah.
you don't have any window looking out
Yeah.
basically. The only way that you can visualize stuff is as you're going through, you've got
Yeah.
a top map where you're going along the map trying to figure out where everything is. You're being chased down by some sort of monstrosity in it.
It
You get
might be.
glimpses of it.
Yeah. I had a game like that for my Tandy color computer. I don't remember the name of it, but it was based on Fantastic Voyage.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing if anybody. No, nope. I might. I'll have to look it up again. I'm pretty sure it was a game on Steam. I think that somebody
Oh,
made.
something recent? You're not talking about a
Yeah,
game from the 80s
it's
then?
no, it's recent. It's
Oh,
really,
okay. I have no
but
idea. I have no idea.
it's very um it is very retro. Like
Like
it's very
Flash Gordon
retro.
spaceships?
No, you're basic. Your whole thing is you're inside this encased submarine, like
Yeah.
bolted in, and you're trying to do this mission, and
Okay.
it's like you're what you do depends on the lives of everybody from here on. Kind of one of
Wow.
those do or
Sounds
die kind of
interesting.
thing, and you're trying to navigate through this whole thing, and you're being hit on by some sort of weird entity that's out there. And as you're going along, you're getting snapshots of the area, so you're looking at them kind of wondering, okay, how do I navigate this? Will my ship crash if I go into this debris? Or it's kind of really, it's a kind of a horror game almost as
So are
well.
you driving with just a camera then?
You're driving with just a camera.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's one that doesn't take pictures as you're going along. It's like you have to stop and then
Yeah.
take the picture,
Yeah.
and then kind of guess where to go next. Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Eyeball
Iron
benders.
lung. Yes, yes. Justin actually said what it was. Iron lung. That's right. Yeah. Iron lung. So you could do the same thing with this sort of thing with the corrosive or insidious atmosphere types as well with your group. It would be maybe interesting for about half hour if your game lasts that long. um, yeah, Iron Lung is what it's called. Thanks. Yeah, yeah. I've only seen. He says he's never played it, but I've never played it either. I've seen it played by other people, and it's kind of has an interesting thing. But this is what this reminds me of: corrosive, insidious atmospheres. Maybe your cameras won't be able to pick up things like they normally should. Yeah, your visibility might be impaired severely depending on the
Yeah. Like
composition.
where there's like just iron, just bits of iron floating, being blown around. Either the
Yeah, I
wind, the
mean,
wind from a star, solar star winds are blasting away on this planet, and So you're not getting any kind of radio signals in or off the planet.
Right, right.
It's a
All this
constant flak is always in the sky.
interference. You can't
Yeah,
get a signal in or out, or yeah. And who
yeah, that
knows? You could,
happens in Star Trek all the time. They go to a planet and they can't talk to the ship.
yeah, yeah.
Subspace interference or whatever.
So what is this? Sorry. So hazard code B, biologic. So some form of life form. G is a gas mix. Okay, it's giving you some ideas.
Sometimes the hazard code is just temperature. You'll just cook,
Yeah.
or radiation, or it's just too bright.
What the heck is going on here?
If the planet is inside of a star, go somewhere else.
Oh, this guy's trying to get his mask on. Okay, okay, I see what's going on.
See, if you're at that point, I wonder what's going on with your eyeballs. You know, you need eye protection if the
Well, yeah, I mean, you could have the liquid being sucked out of your eyeballs
yeah
and stuff like that.
severe dry eye, or what if there's chlorine? You don't want your eye touching chlorine. I guess you wouldn't want your skin in the chlorine either. I mean, some people go into a swimming pool that has tons of chlorine, and then they wonder why their skin's always itchy or whatever because they didn't
Yeah,
shower.
I can tell you for a fact I've experienced this myself. So as a floor layer, I used to do tile floors, and in one particular instance, I had a basement which was not particularly didn't have air circulation going through, and I had to take off because the floor had been treated with some sort of a substance on the top of it. It was just a cement floor, and I poured nitric acid all over it. And the nitric acid goes ahead and eats and corrodes everything, so that you can then take thin set and actually set it instead of having the thin set like pop off of the surface of it causes the it corrodes it and makes divots and everything, so it's got something for the thin set to grab onto.
Yeah,
But the problem is, if you are down there and you're spreading this stuff around, you spread it around in a mix. So you're using part water, part nitric acid. And you take a big sponge and you're like wearing big gloves and everything. And you got your
yeah,
like pretty much a suit on, and you're spreading this stuff around, and it's create and depending on the mix and what is on the surface um of the cement, it can cause a reaction, like even worse reaction. So it almost knocked me out. I was like going up the stairs trying to get out of it because I was suddenly starting to feel overwhelmed. And yeah, yeah, my lungs for a week were just like, it just like, it just felt like I had been like I almost cooked the inside of my lungs. It just
yeah.
felt weird. So for a while there, I was like, coughing up a little bit of lung, yeah, nitric acid, yeah, all kinds of fun. It seems pretty. Yeah, the beige, yeah, he's talking about.
Same artist that did the weird guy standing behind her.
Yeah, it's not much fun when you get it in your lungs. So like the gas, the off gassing from it. It's pretty extreme. And that I think I used up one of my 9 lives then. So
9 lives.
one of my 9 lives.
Catman.
Yeah. Yes, it's meh artwork once again. I'm not a big fan of it. But I do like it's giving examples of everything for just to give you some ideas. I mean,
Oh yeah, there's
sure,
tons. There's tons of stuff to use here.
yeah. Because even though we've watched a lot of sci-fi and stuff like that, not every game master out there is gonna, if they have this book, they'll have like, oh, some cool ideas that they can use in their game as well, without having to go through the extensive library of different sci-fi books, movies that we've seen throughout the years. You have to keep in mind a lot of these guys are younger, just high school or popping out of high school, getting into a sci-fi game, and so their knowledge of like sci-fi genre is kind of secluded to maybe Star Wars or something.
Yeah,
Like that.
whatever they saw last week.
Yeah. So
You're gonna play Traveler with these guys, and they're like, okay, Traveler's based on early 70s.
yeah.
Before we were even docking with the Russians in space, basically. You mean there's swords? The space does the crew have swords when they board other ships?
Yeah.
What is that? They have
Like,
they have dress knives, and they have, because it's borrowing from Foundation, from Dune, and if the kids never read any of those books, they're not going to understand.
stable diffusion. I mean, yeah, it depends on which model you're using. Uh, so you'll have different models out there. You can train your Laura to emulate certain styles. So, and I'm sure we mentioned this on our last video when we were going through books. Is if you go ahead and take pictures of like Mobius, images that he's created, compile them all together, and then you set your model to gauge that stuff and work on them and emulate them. It'll create a LoRa file that you can go ahead and start, taking like a picture of, say, uh, whoever, Deborah Harry or Slash, and then you've got a.
Did you say Deborah Harry?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would it be Debbie Harry? Debbie Harry?
It would just Deborah.
Deborah? I thought it should be Deborah. Was her?
You say Deborah like I say like Canada.
Deborah?
Yeah,
Deborah?
Deborah. That's how you say Deborah.
Okay.
No, Deborah is more like Star Wars version of the word.
It's like the French version of my last name would be totally different than my German of my last name. The French butcher my last name. It's like whenever a telemarketer from Quebec calls me up, hello, is Mr. Kirby there? And I'm like,
yeah,
that's not how you pronounce it at all.
It's bouquet instead of bucket.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, it gives you some cool ideas here. Yeah, the art is just not.
It's just filler. It's filler art, placeholder art until something better shows up.
That's what I was saying.
At least they got the text right. They got the jargon right from the Mega Traveler rules.
It's easy to read. Like you're not reading black on it's black background with white, and that kind of that I don't. That's why I gave Spencer my version of one of my books, was because it was just all black and white. I just couldn't. I like the newer ones because you can read it. I like the kind of the grayish background and the black lettering works really good.
Are you saying you gave Spencer your Traveler that has my alien in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Good for him.
Yeah.
What kind of math is this now? Basic rotation rule.
The basic day length.
Per rate.
So, yeah, you're going with the diameter of the planet.
Well, that's neat.
Or is that...
I mean, Mark Miller gave me an equation to use for calculating the date in the 57th century, so it's not way off. Because we're doing what? We have leap years, right?
Right.
Well, that's not accurate, really. In thousands of years, we're going to be off. So you have to do these adjustments every 100 years or whatever it is.
Right.
Anyway.
Right. The Gregorian calendar is not exactly
Yeah,
perfect, but it is what we have to use.
So I use that to convert traveler years to AD, basically.
Oh, that's what it was. Axial tilts. That's what I was trying to get at. Some sort of
okay.
Axial tilt of your orbit.
Well, there's also each planet has an axial tilt.
Tidal lock. So the unusual thing about our moon is it's tidal locked.
Yeah.
Do we have any other orbiting bodies in our solar system that are tidal locked?
I think Mercury is like that, going around the sun.
Yeah, Mercury is tidal locked to the sun. That's right.
Then Venus has some issue about the pole is pointed right at the sun. Is that true?
I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember.
And it doesn't have a magnetic core. It's using some other way to keep its atmosphere from blowing off itself.
So yeah, a little bit extensive.
What do you think? Have you ever ran a game where you have bases and stuff on Venus?
No,
or orbital cities in Venus?
I don't even think I've ever ran a game that was actually in our solar system, ever.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
That never. Yeah, it never came up.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't even think as a player I've ever. Nope.
See, I teach people how to play Travelers, so we're always using Earth because that's what they know. Yeah. So I'm just used to it.
Can understand that.
But you're in the Glimmer Mist.
I like when I in my early years of playing Traveler, I just made my own stuff up. I would just generate a sector, and I would have an index card for each parsec. Each parsec, and that was basically it. I just use index cards. Yeah. I had a whole thing of index cards for my sector, and then whenever somebody like had a ship that it went onto index card, then I would take 2 index cards and tape them together and put everybody who was in that ship in that fold, and then wherever they went, I would go ahead and manipulate it to wherever they are. Cool. So I kept everything in a nice convenient, because this was before I even had a computer, really. Yeah. I did have a computer, but I never brought it along with me. It was always, at my parents' old place. So, and that was the Tandy. In the
my stuff was kept on thermal paper that I printed out from the ZX81. And guess what happens to thermal paper after even just a couple years? You can't read anything on it.
Does it all turn black?
Sometimes.
Thermal paper?
If it's left on something warm, but usually the text just fades away.
Oh, okay. So it's the opposite. It just goes lighter and lighter, and just.
It's just the whole paper just has a even distribution of nothing.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like invisible ink almost.
Thermal paper is well, that's what you make.
That's what Target uses
shipping labels. Oh, your shipping labels. Yeah, thermal paper. Yeah, we use it at our company as well. Yeah. Tons of it. Base mean temperatures. But we're here for the artwork, so
we are.
Yeah, we are.
I'm here for the whole shebang.
Um. Okay. Um. I mean, giant mushrooms.
Well, it's low gravity, so plants can
Yeah.
grow high and
There you
float.
go. Yeah.
Maybe there's gas inside those things to help lift them.
You never know. Could be. The plants could create their own form of something that gets trapped in those ridges underneath. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, they convert air into some poison gas.
Well, it doesn't even have to be air. It could be whatever.
Oh, it could be anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It just has to be a lighter form of that, which
it
wants to
converts
go.
it converts methane into something more toxic.
There we go. We're giving some ideas out there for people for their own planets. Luminosity. I mean, really, nobody.
Nobody knows about it yet because they haven't bought this book. You want
Um,
stars have luminosities to them, so you can kind of tell what kind of star it is by how bright it is, if you know how far it is.
yeah.
These kinds of things. Red shift, blue shift, how fast these things are moving away or towards you. Okay, like the
Uh,
North Star. You've heard of the North Star, right?
yeah.
Well, apparently, 1,000 years ago, it wasn't there. Did you know that? I didn't know that till like a week ago.
No, I did not know that.
Some star blew up, pff, North Star, and then
Okay.
navigators used it. They started using it. What a
Okay.
coincidence. It just happens to be north. The South, the people in Australia, they don't have something like that. So they have to
The Southern Cross.
they have to fend for themselves down there in the darkness.
Yeah.
Where are we?
They have the Southern Cross down there. But this is about temperature variance on planets, so which is why they're getting into the luminosity factor here for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, at nighttime, how bright is the planet at night? Sort of, kind of.
Yeah.
Does it give off any light? Does it radiate anything? Are there a bunch of cities? Is it a concrete paved earth with streetlights every 4 feet away from each other?
Um.
Run by robots?
Okay, this is interesting. Axial tilts of 45 degrees or more. This stuff that you wouldn't necessarily think of, but hey, yeah. Wait a second. Something that you could put into your game.
Like those borealis things. How often do they show up where you live?
Um, that is kind of a seasonal thing mostly, but it depends on the activity of the sun. So if you have a lot of sunspot activity, then you're going to get more powerful, more brilliant episodes up here. But your peak time would be in between October, November up here, where you really start to see it, where it's just like massive sheets of green. It's just it's crazy looking. But the best time to be looking at it is if you're way off in the like if you're like between Grand Prairie and Edmonton, it's 4 hours kind of distance, and the highway between there um, is there isn't much um, light pollution. So you don't get any light pollution from say Edmonton or Grand Prairie. It's kind of you're
Yeah.
out in the dark. So when you're looking up in the sky, it's pretty. You can see all the stars and everything. So
Oh yeah.
I think where you're at, it's kind of it'd be a little bit hard to see the stars because you've got a lot of light pollution in your area, right?
Well, I'm far east from like San Diego, so
Oh, okay, okay,
I'm just, I don't know, 10 minutes from mountains.
oh, okay, okay. So
That's
you
where the
you know.
observe. That's where the observatories are and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, people always head out this way with their telescopes,
Because
especially around October, because that's when the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper can be seen.
Because I remember back in the day, like in the 70s, back in BC, it's a lot of mountains and valleys. So there was, and the light pollution was a lot less back then. The city was smaller, and it wasn't so
Yeah,
spread
San
out.
Diego used to have free electricity, and it would just shoot beams of light into space from the
Hmm.
ground, just
Hmm.
for being cool. Look at it. You can see San Diego, LA from miles away. What's that
Oh
beam of
yeah,
light? Every parking lot had the parking lights just blasting off into all directions.
San
Come,
Diego.
come, you know, uh, they would do the searchlights things all the time. Every night, every
Okay.
shopping mall had the lights. Come visit us. We're open till midnight. This is back when places were open 24 hours.
Yeah.
Now they said no, you can't do that anymore. No more Batman signal lights or whatever.
Hmm.
And the lights you put in your parking lot have to be aimed downward and have to be a certain frequency to see just within 2 feet of the post that light shines under.
Hmm.
So everyone's car in the parking lot looks the same color. No matter what color their car is in the parking lot, it's all the same color. The
Interesting.
light the light just shows that there's a car there. It doesn't show any of the color of the car, which is weird.
Hmm.
And
Interesting.
this and this and the weirdo crazy scientists saying, "Oh, we need to cut down even more on lights. They can't see something. Too much reflection coming from the ground."
Well, I mean,
That's what the Hubble telescope's.
yeah, back, yeah, back in the day, like I was saying, I was able to see the stars if I was, say, on Mount Thor back in Vernon. It would be, you'd lay out on your sleeping bag, look straight up, make out with your girlfriend, but you'd see the
Yeah.
stars and all that stuff, right? And it was you couldn't. My kids would not see that because there was just way too much light pollution, more than what you see um, back then. And it wasn't until my kids were on that trip that we went to, like we were heading to go visit Dave Cadogan uh, down in Edmonton along our way to go to, um, we were taking a trip to Mexico. And so we had to go all the way, drive all the way down there. It was the first time they actually got to see like stars up in the sky as well as they could. So, which was pretty cool. And at the time, there was a lot of electromagnetic activity happening as well too. So, but that was in May as well. So you have a burst of that happening in May, and then you've also have a burst of that happening in October, November. So um, so it's kind of a seasonal thing, and it depends on the activity of the sun at the time. If there's lots of activity, you'll see lots of that. Once again, I think this is that survey ship. Um,
Okay, that's something different.
So you'll probably see a picture of it coming up here if I can
That's a
recall
newer
correctly.
version of the one from the 70s.
Yeah. How big is the thing in the sky? Okay. Hey, this is giving you some ideas of how to gauge something in the sky. Um,
I want to say parsec comes from all that. Or is it parallax? Maybe I'm thinking of parallax. It's a certain degrees
Parallax.
field of view.
Well, parallax is where you have something moving in the foreground, in the background at different
Yeah.
because it gives that illusion that of movement.
Yeah.
Um,
There's something like at a certain parsec away, such and such happens, and they can tell the distance and how far away something. I don't know. I don't remember.
Luminosity.
I don't remember stuff from 50 years ago that I read in school once. Star Wars messed up parsecs.
Yeah,
royally, just
yeah,
royally.
yeah.
It even got past his wife who was editing the movie. She did a good job in that film,
Hmm.
except for that part.
So solar disk visibility bands, twilight zone extents,
Like
all
Jupiter gives off light. You have certain cameras pointed at it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
the radio telescope type stuff.
Yeah, that's one of the things. If you're looking at the electromagnetic spectrum of it, and you had a camera that just detected electromagnetic spectrum, you would definitely see where Jupiter was. So
Yeah, and then
something to think about when your ships are out in traveler is something that you could think of that yeah okay let's look at the electromagnetic
yeah, and there's
spectrum of
lightning.
everything. Boom. Oh, there's that planet. We can see it a lot better now using electromagnetic spectrum, right?
Yeah,
So stuff like that.
and there's lightning on the planet, and the lightning is about, I don't know, 3 times longer than the diameter of Earth.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
if you
it's
look at the occurrences on
insanity.
the sun,
Yeah,
those little curly, those loop things on the sun, like 5 or 6 Earths could fit through one of those loops.
easily.
And
Yes.
if a piece of the sun blows off towards Earth, we're doomed. We're dead. We're dead, man. Everyone's gonna live underground for the next 100 years.
Turn into sand, just like in that movie. What was the name of that movie? Um,
There's so many of them.
yeah. Anyways, back in the 70s.
In Star
Um,
Trek, they turned into salt or something.
okay.
They
So,
said, "Don't beam up any more people. You're turning into salt. Stay on the planet until we figure something out."
so we're getting into world physical characteristics here. Greenhouse factors, temperature, all that kind of stuff. Things that you would never have thought of using the original book.
Now, I'll say that this is better than the original book because the original book is boring to read. It's just wall to wall text.
Yeah.
Not much art.
Um,
Here,
seismology. So we're getting
but
into the
here they break it
earthquakes.
up. They break it up with little orangey tab things and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice. Little in the orange areas with their formulas just to amuse you.
But is there a calculation for figuring out if Earth hits Jupiter, what happens to Jupiter? Does it stay in the same spot? Does it wobble? Did it even notice Earth hit it?
Never know. I don't
How
know.
how much
Not
more
sure.
gravity does Jupiter have now? That kind
I
of thing.
think somebody was asking if the Earth went through the atmosphere, would it hit something? Um, and there was a bunch of questions. I think one of the more recent um,
Well, the
re-
atmosphere is really dense, so you're going to hit the atmosphere first, just as hard as if you hit the ground.
oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I
Before you
mean
even hit the ground, you're flatter than paper
yeah,
before you even hit the ground.
the density of the atmosphere deep inside of it, it's crazy. It's so much pressure and so much heat being created in there.
Yeah,
It's like they're
nothing.
thinking everything's like liquid metal in the center of it or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
So
It's nothing
who really
compared to
knows?
the Marianas
Yeah,
Trench is a clear day compared to the
yeah,
atmosphere of Jupiter.
yeah. Well, when you think of it, our entire planet, and the Marianas Trench and everything else on it, and then you got Jupiter, which is like, and you're like,
Yeah,
okay, we're gonna be like crushed. The planet would be crushed by
yeah.
the
It's like
time it got.
12 miles deep or 1,200 miles deep.
It would kind of make an epic conclusion to a like a one shot. There you go.
No, it'd be
The
12,000 miles deep.
the moon heading gradually closer into the atmosphere of a massive gas giant.
Well, in the
That'd be
90s, I think some meteors or comets or something, asteroids, something hit Jupiter and just pelted it. And there was these little black spots on Jupiter that
I
last.
remember that. It was kind of like, yeah, it hit, but yeah, what exactly was that? Was that
It
the
was an asteroid or something that broke into smaller pieces, and then
yeah,
each piece just got absorbed by Jupiter.
did it just turn into, mist from the pressure or what,
I don't
who
know.
knows. um
I mean,
One other thing,
there's a scientific word for what happened. It's probably in this book. Who knows?
you never know. Tectonic plates, native life forms. Okay, we're getting into life forms now. Yay.
Oh, I forgot
Biomass
there's life
rating.
forms in this. I thought this is just the dirt of the planet.
Yeah, no, this is everything on world building. And then we have, the a typical stuff that you would see on what you call it? What's the game? What's the game again? Um, um,
There's so many.
yeah. Anyways, yeah.
The
Same.
Maxis game from
Sure.
Sim City.
Sim City. Yeah, stuff like
What was that
that.
one? He did one where you evolve
No
critters.
Man's Sky, even. Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah, the artist probably.
Biocomplexity. Oh, biocomplexity rating. Hmm. This determines of whether or not you are dealing with giant plasmic cell based things, or are you dealing with something super complex like space octopus? And we're getting into the different kinds of things like software, the intelligence, psionics, stuff like that.
So how many sexes should there be with alien life forms? Because in
It's
Traveler
a it's
5,
a it's a dangerous question these days,
in
Connor.
Traveler 5, it goes into genders that can switch on the fly depending on who's already in the orgy. You know, three or six, maybe 6 or 9 people have to get involved before something gets born.
Well,
That's how Alien Traveler 5 gets.
yeah.
And then you do the DNA stuff to make your character, or not your character, but to figure out what the baby's gonna be. Because you have the drone workers, you have the security guys, you have the, like worker bee type stuff, hive cultures. Or in, what was that Aldous Huxley story, Brave New World? You're brought
Right.
up as an alpha, beta, gamma, delta,
Mm.
epsilon.
You
So
could
you have a purpose when you're born.
be part of a bud. You're like a potato person. So you bud off
Yeah,
from your.
or you're just taking care of larvae. That's your duty until you die. Or you bring food to the larvae. Or you're protecting the hive, or you're going out and just massively attacking other animals and injecting them with your DNA and converting them over as hosts or whatever.
Um, Rare earth.
That's getting into, was it Prometheus? Is that the book I have? Yeah, Prometheus. That stupid alien movie.
Oh,
The
right.
girl is running the rolling spaceship, and she's rolling in the
Yeah,
direction that the
yeah,
spaceship
yeah.
is rolling. Like, come on, lady, move out of the way.
That stuff was breaking things down and recombining it, turning it into new kind of life forms, or
Yeah,
turning.
the engineers.
So it's
Would you
kind of
want
like,
to? Would you want to generate a character as an engineer in the game? You get to travel to other planets and destroy them.
hey, why not? Tech 16 or higher, and yeah, there you go.
You eat the stuff that metabolizes your body into amino acids or whatever are needed to make a planet have life millions of years later.
Right, right. I mean, it'd
You're just
be
gonna get cloned anyway and used elsewhere.
I guess. I guess. How would the dilemma you must go through if, but there again, it's because of the way that we have been create like we've been brought up and everything. We have our dilemmas, but those people, would they have a dilemma over that or not? It would just be the natural circle of life to them.
They're born to think that that's their job to do the
Yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So it'd be now we're talking about like alien, you know, thought and stuff like that. Stuff that would be totally
Yeah.
bizarro to us,
Oh
because
yeah.
because
I mean, they see us as ants, maybe.
yeah, yeah.
We show up to say hi, and the first thing they want to do is murder us. Like, how dare you?
Yeah. Step
Maybe
on
they're
it.
maybe
You.
they're not maybe they're not interested in what grows on the planet. They're interested on what technology spreads from those planets to other planets, maybe? I don't know. To help with their galactic war. It's a slow chase galactic war in progress.
So this is getting into like the different um intelligences, I guess, if you were gonna put it bluntly.
Yeah, they say so fonts now.
Yeah. And I
Some girl,
mean,
I forgot who, back in the 60s came up with the word.
right? You know, does it have a soul or does it not have a soul? It's like
Yeah.
you can get into debates like that, but it's entirely up to you on
Well, they're
on
trying
your
to get
game.
away from the word alien. Alien is derogatory, so they say so font now.
Yeah. I mean, technically, you could think that we are aliens on this planet, if
Yeah.
unless unless we were, well, we've all come from space anyways. So.
Yeah. We came from the universe.
Come from the stars. Habitability reading. Habitability or habitability.
Yeah, let's see. It's more advanced of what we had before. So you got, yeah,
So if you
the
die,
the
Mars,
three
fires,
stats,
in
three stats
case.
plus gravity now. Atmosphere, hydroponics, what was it? Hydrographics,
So
size, and now gravity.
yep,
Core rules, I don't think deal.
not
They
at all.
they would calculate gravity. That was about it.
Yeah.
You came from a 1G planet, basically.
And I do like it gives a little, a text blurb on each on the end over here, so you can, relate to what it's actually meaning. A lot of people won't know what a Kelvin is,
Right.
So there you go. Um, interesting. Okay.
He's got his 10-foot pole. What is that?
10 foot. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you need a 10-foot pole. It's kind of required in D&D.
Lots of muddy pictures.
Yeah,
They have a
it's
perfect chance to show humans. I don't know if they use the art from the 70s. Guess what the art would look like? It would be Boris Vallejo art,
yeah,
and the girl
I don't.
petting the head of a baby
They were
dragon.
no, they were still using the black and white kind of stuff. The holiday, what's his name? Is it Holiday or Holiday? The guy who did all the black and white images for stuff like Paranoia and stuff like that, and he did a few pictures that were in
Oh,
Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. It was all black and white art back then, just the
well,
drawing
I'll,
kind of
I'll
stuff.
I'll retcon Travelers so that it's black and white text, but in the middle of the book, there's like 10 color pages, like how this was done.
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. It would be, yeah, stuff. Maybe Mobius.
fold out color pages like the Terran Authority books.
Pull out of here a little bit. I don't want to go too far so that people can actually see it. Main world mapping, world maps, getting into the surface. Okay, once again, the isometric kind of thing going on here.
Now, Traveler 5 has these maps from size 0 to size 15, I think.
So instead of changing the how wide what this represents per hex, they'll have like a 3 hexes or maybe 10 hexes, depending.
Like looking at this map here, I would say it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a size 5 world.
So that's what it's saying by
because I'm counting when I go along a diagonal line, I'm counting the little nicks going down the diagonal line. There's 5 of them.
Gotcha.
I'm not counting the hexes. I'm just counting the nicks. That's how Traveler 5 does it.
Oh, okay. So you're talking like 5 across here, or
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Any triangle edge, you count how many nicks cross it.
Okay.
Perpendicular. Right. That's how you know what size world that map is meant for.
Gotcha. And this is the standard.
And then that one, let's see, how many nicks is it? Well, this is a hex, so that's something different.
Yeah, so it's each of these is one of those. So
yeah.
That's what I was trying to say. And this is a lot bigger than this. So
yes.
Once again, they are showing a triangle, which should be for a larger size world than this. And is that this?
Now the triangle here, go down. The triangle down there in the bottom corner, that one's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a size 7 map.
And
now I'm guessing no matter what size the planet is,
okay,
the hex is always going to be 100, right?
1,000 kilometers.
Here, go back to the bottom again. What did it say about the 1,000 kilometers? What did it say?
Okay,
it says
so
scale
this is 100 kilometers per.
Oh, I see. I got you. Okay. It's hexes inside of hexes. I see. So yeah, the big hex is 1,000, and then the smaller hexes are 100.
Right.
So that's never going to change. The hex is always going to be the same size, no matter what planet it's from.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah.
But right. Mongoose Traveler got it wrong. They didn't follow that format, and they just make up numbers for the maps. But Traveler 5 actually has a method to its madness.
Okay, I'll have to look. I have the PDFs. I don't have any of the actual books. So
yeah.
So once again, there's Z system.
So when I'll make a 20-sided die in 3D and then map a planet over it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got the hexes drawn on this 20-sided die, but it's really now a planet world map in 3D.
Okay.
Because that's what you end up with when you take one of these maps and you put the triangles back together. It's just 20 sides.
Yeah. And then do you... So when you render it, do you render it so that it smooths out everything and turns it back into a sphere?
Yeah, sometimes. Depends what the players are amused by.
The NURBS.
Sometimes I convert the D20 into a sphere. So now it's a round shape instead of just a 20-sided shape.
Okay, so it's showing here how to fill out the forms. If you ever want to do that, sure. Or to keep a record.
Yeah, you want the computer to crank those out for you in PDF.
It's a lot more complex than my index cards from back in the 80s.
And plus, these are second and third surveys. That's what that one there is a fourth survey. That one there is a second and third. So you're adding on to the previous survey. Kind of like appendiums.
Yep. Fourth survey of Terra. Of course, probably things have changed. So difference in maybe the composition.
It got taken over. It got taken over by the Villani.
It probably had a little bit of damage throughout the resistance and fighting.
It's had a few world wars probably.
Yep.
It's got Democrats on the planet, so that's an issue. That's why I don't like the Darians book. Do you have the Darians book?
Darians.
Or the Darians?
Yeah, the Darians. That's what I thought was because that one person had the weird looking eyes that was looking at the what was the plant. I thought that was a Darian or maybe.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. I couldn't see from the picture what their eyes look like. But the Darians are basically the hard leftist Antifa types in space.
I see.
So I refuse to have them in my games.
Well, that's the thing. If you make up your own sector and you make up your own thing, you don't even have to worry about that. So,
oh yeah.
There you go. Make your own stuff up. Take the map out of Hostile if you wanted to.
Yep.
And you get the whole thing and
use the maps from Stars Without Number.
There you go.
Same maps, pretty much. Heck, online you can get subsector maps online just generated for you.
Is Stars Without Number? It does the same thing with the hexes and everything.
Yeah, it copies right from Traveler. It uses subsectors and everything.
Gotcha.
It doesn't even apologize. It just takes it.
Okay.
There's a Jodani base, I think, has a generator online.
Yeah.
And of course, then there's you could type in your own data, upload it to travelermap.com, and have it make a book for you of a sector.
Yes. Yeah, and it does it like a like the old Traveler books too.
Yeah. It's got cool. 5 or 6 different skins you can use to make the subsectors with.
Okay. Unusual cities. It's getting into some of the, ideas.
Okay, what tech level? What's the highest tech level?
It's 14 by the looks here. 14 would be the flying grav mobile.
Okay. Because Traveler 5 goes up to 33. That's the equivalent of Krypton.
So, 16 plus is...
Yeah, 16 is considered AI and anti-gravity.
Anti-gravity?
Yeah.
I thought anti-gravity was a Tech 12 thing.
It's not... I don't know if it's anti-gravity, though. Is it? No, antimatter. Maybe it's antimatter.
Oh, yeah, antimatter. Yeah. Yeah, because they started. Yeah, that's when you start getting the grav belts and stuff like that is Tech 12. Do they get into a little bit more about the governments here besides the basics?
I think we'll have the AI though before Tech level 16. Because they had it in 2001.
Oh yeah.
It operated the ship and everything. And then they had him again in Blade Runner, which was what, 3 years ago? 4 years ago?
So this is a little bit interesting here. They get into the degree of how the consolidated power is. Okay. And they're getting into how their power functions as well.
Now, how would you handle that? By world or by territory on the world? Because Earth has how many governments?
Yeah, it's it depends. Are you basing in your case a one shot in a particular spot? Then you don't really have to worry too much.
I'm not going to info dump the whole planet when they're just going to be in the local area. They might visit a city or two.
Right. but for people with campaigns and stuff like that, it might serve a purpose. Of course, it's just fuel for the brain for the game master to pull off ideas from.
Because some players get real picky and they say, well, technically the planet would have this government if it's this size and has this much population. Don't let that person in your game. Bet your players. It's fantasy, people. This is fantasy.
Yeah, it's fantasy.
I was talking to some chucklehead last night. He's saying, "Oh, it's a simulation." No, it's an emulation, not a simulation. There's no RPG out there that simulates anything, really. Starfield can't even simulate a star system.
That's right.
It'd be nice if you could fly to a planet and land on it, but no. You can't even walk out to your ship and get inside. If you fast travel, it's load screen after load screen. So what's Boss Girl saying?
Not sure.
Where's all the white guys at?
Right here? Is that him? Not sure.
Hard to tell.
I'm just looking at this. So they're trying to figure out how many factions would possibly be in this, like, to kind of divvy out the idea of who is trying to grab for power, I guess.
Well, yeah, you have those are the things from the core book, the factions.
Yeah, so fringe group, minor group, notable group,
yeah,
all that stuff.
Yeah, that's all from the core book. You're gonna have, is the place run by a corporation? Is it a colony run by another planet nearby?
Yeah,
is there a war going on?
Is it a captive government? Is it what? Yeah.
Yeah, captive government. Basically, your whole existence is owned by some other planet who rules over your planet. So you have to go by their laws.
Secondary world governments. So I guess you would have like a government that kind of is a representative of your planet if the surrounding systems are combined together, say like the Glimmerdrift Federation, then you would have a representative from your planet that represented in that. So you have to start thinking about these kinds of things if you're running.
You got like
governments in the system, in the star system, in the in the number of in the actual federation of different planets, combined together. It gives you fuel for thought. So,
I mean, there could be more than one government on the same planet, or just
exactly
each planet has its own government.
Or there might be something in the case that seasonally a separate representative is voted upon each time, or whatever.
Or some planet orbits nearby another planet every 80 years. So every 80 years they have to make a peace treaty not to kill them.
Yeah.
As give them tribute or something.
The wormhole opens. Yeah, he's kind of
otherwise
like that,
they'll kill us. You have to prepare. We have 1 year before the planet is upon us. We have to make nice with them, and they're just robots that live on that planet. Everyone's died off on the planet. No one knows what's going on that other planet, but they give the robots some peace offerings, so they'll.
So it's almost Deep Space Nine that you were describing there, but not, because they had the the wormhole would open, and then they would have to work out negotiations with what were they called beyond the hole.
I don't remember.
I can't. Yeah, Star Trek stuff that I never really watched much.
I had to work or go to school on the day that show was on, so I never really saw that much.
Deep Space Nine.
Yeah. I like the first episode. Cisco's wife gets killed by the Borg. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, even Crispy said noticed that. Yeah, a lot of this artwork, the arms are really off and stuff like that. We've seen that in
Well,
some of the
maybe they're
earlier stuff.
futuristic humans, handmade humans from gods, and they don't remember what humans even look like.
They're just
Near
made from,
approximations.
yeah, made from the images made by the whoever did the comic books from from
The
the woke.
the
We'll
person
all
that did
model them after that, right?
the person that did the girl boss from Foundation, she was drawn normal, I think.
Hmm.
Have you been watching Foundation at all?
No.
The reviews of it seem to be okay.
Right?
They're
I
not
think my
using the story Foundation. They're just using the setting of Foundation to make a whole new story from.
I
Which is how
think
you should do it. That's how it should be done.
I think my
When you
wife
grab a
is
novel.
watching that. I'll have to check. I'll have to ask her. She's more of a TV, like watching the Netflix or the um, whatever Prime, watching stuff
I
off of
watched,
that.
was it Terminus that gets blowed up or whatever? I was watching that the other day on YouTube. Looked pretty
Oh,
cool.
okay, okay. I'm I rarely watch any of that kind of stuff. Like I'll probably watch more of the older shows and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
But it's a reboot. They got to change things. They don't want to pay anyone royalties who had anything to do with the Foundation trilogy.
Oh, okay. So they have to kind of make their own thing, but
Yeah,
call
they
it
have to.
that.
Yeah.
Law level, good old law level. Uniformity of the law. The richer you are,
Now, do they
the
have feudal technocracy in there? Because that was a big deal. I wanted to make sure Traveler had that.
okay. So systems of justice. Okay, which is cool. It's you don't really get a lot of that in the original book. Judicial system profile. So, okay, let me just kind of going through each of these. Because you have to read down to go back up and look down again.
Yeah, whoever has the money gets the law.
That's right. That tends to be about it with everything. You pay for your sins with money.
Yeah, it's like your great grandparents did something illegal and you're still paying for it. You get branded.
Okay, so they get into criminal law and private law.
It's even got maths for this stuff. Wow.
Well,
And this is
some
definitely
very
going in. This definitely goes into a computer, someone's app.
yeah, some dark uh visuals here.
The Varger, if that is a Varger, looks like some dude or dudette with a dog helmet on.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that. It looks like it's got a tail in the back there. The cops are snooping in. Yeah. Who knows what that is?
And the guy's got a metal neck and a metal hand, metal arm or something.
Yeah, yeah. That's whack. Personal rights, criminal conviction, law level profile here. Boy, oh boy, we're getting into details. Overall level, weapons and armor, economic level, criminal law, private law, and personal rights. Okay. It's a little bit more deeper than just um,
Yeah.
the original.
We're just used to law levels
Yeah.
in the core book.
I mean, as generalizations, they work, but if you really want to get deeper, and I guess,
Well, some player might say, well, what does that law level mean exactly? It doesn't make sense. How come I can't take my gun with me here, but I can take it? Those are the rules. We have to go by what the rules say. It's a fantasy world.
That's right.
But in real life, you can't have it. Well, this isn't real life.
Okay, cool. This is nice to have a criminal penalty roll. So
yep.
You can go ahead and figure out, roll it, and then you can role play it through.
Yeah, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. They had the wheel that they would spin.
There you go. Does it have a wheel here? Nope.
It's a 2d6 roll.
Economic penalty. Okay, fines, of course. Private law penalties. Let's see. He gives some examples here, so you're not kind of just guessing. It explains it fairly well. Oh, here we go with captive governments, my favorite. Tech level.
The tech level modifiers look like from the core book.
Starport size, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so does that have...
I mean, it just adds to the core book. It doesn't change the core book. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's just
because otherwise it ruins the core book if it changes this stuff.
Adds another level of detail to it.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is what you find in the core book as well. Tech levels up to 16. And
now the tech level's based on atmosphere. That one I never really understood, but I just punched it in the computer the way the book says to do it.
Right. Let's see. Minimum tech. Well, some of it does make sense, because if you're going to have people there, they definitely need to have a certain amount of tech level. Like 8 is bare minimal, which is kind of like our current date technology, in order to survive on a 0, like no atmosphere, 1, which is very, very, very faint, or A, which is the A is the exotic, isn't it? A is the exotic atmosphere.
Water world.
Atmosphere.
No, that's atmosphere.
Yeah.
Atmosphere
A. I think that's exotic.
It's unlivable.
So I can see why they would have like certain restrictions that you would need these.
Yeah, I don't remember. I know Trailer 5 says if there's no people, no government, no law level, then there's no tech level. That was like automatic. So I made sure that my world generator had that. My world generator borrows from both 2nd edition and 5th edition.
Okay.
That way you can kind of, whatever world you make, you can use it in a Traveler 5 game, or you can use it in a Mongoose Traveler game.
Does your generator include the stuff like the symbols and obscure, whether or not...
Like Navy base, that kind of thing?
No, like the Traveler map has stuff like symbols. Are they abstract, or are they, there was a whole bunch of different little things, and that's why I was asking you whether or not Traveler was Traveler 4 or 5, or which one.
What kind of symbols?
So let's see. Let's go Traveler map here. I'll bring it up. Let's say window. Traveler map is right
The only
there.
symbols I know are like if there's a gas giant present.
I'm just going to zoom in and wait for the map to generate here. Come on, come on. Is my internet so slow? So sluggish? It must
Your
be.
intranet?
My internet. Let me go ahead and share.
You're using XPS on your network. Oh,
Yeah, I just pulled out of here. I want to present.
I forget you can't
different.
you can't layer shares.
Yeah, so share screen. I want to do the traveler map share. There we go. Wait for that to. Let me just hit that. So we'll take this guy for example. Let's wait for it to. I won't be able to actually click it unless I get in. Come on, give me the heck is Kickstarter going on. All right, let's go into here into the details of the culture. So we have symbols, strangeness, acceptance, and heterogeneity. I don't think you can see that. I'm unable to blow this up any further, but
Yeah.
but yeah, it's got this stuff here. So I do use this quite a bit in my Glimmerdrift Reaches game. So I'm always kind of trying to interpret these.
Yeah, I use those, but not I don't save them in a file. Like my
Oh,
program
okay.
doesn't generate those things.
Oh, okay.
I'll add
Okay.
them in later if it makes sense.
So, and once again, it gets into the.
Mongoose Traveler has its own thing, like the culture of a world. So I'll use those.
Oh, okay. So yeah, this is culture, but it's divided into four different aspects. Once again, same
It
thing.
it's
That
kind of a reaction, right? It's like it's
yeah.
gonna compare your culture to someone else's culture.
So when I see something like abstract, I start making things a little bit more unusual for the players when they interact with these uh, NPCs from the planet with something really bizarre, and they got to do like a more of a ritualistic kind of interaction with the that sort of stuff. Like you got to make it really weird for it to come across as uh, even strangeness and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Strangeness. What would be strange? I mean, you could have the way um
the way they talk in euphemisms or something.
yeah. I mean, you have to think of different things in order to make these come to come to light. So that's why I was wondering where all this information was actually coming from, which version of Traveler it was.
That's 5.
So yeah,
That's
and
all in
that's
5.
yeah,
That whole thing you're looking at is 5.
yeah.
I think this whole traveler map thing now is from 5.
So yeah, that's
I'm using stuff my players would know from 2E,
mhm.
and then I sprinkle in a little bit of details from 5. Just
Yeah, but I find
sprinkles.
that though that this those aspects of the culture and stuff like that interesting to work with in the game. So
Yeah,
I use them in my own kind of way. So it's
because
not a
Mongoose has like 16 different cultures in its generator.
yeah.
Like
Skip.
what's taboo? What's something taboo in their culture? It'll say. Like maybe they don't like outsiders. Maybe they don't like both sexes mingling with each other. Maybe they don't like people eating food in public.
Yeah, maybe all their food is rubber.
Or they're covered from head to toe. No one shows themselves.
They only present to eat the food as a show. they actually plug themselves into nutrient tubes as they sleep.
Yeah.
The act of eating is something
It's
formal
symbolic.
and is symbolic, and it's not really as a function. Yeah, they only do it because they've only seen it on the TV shows depicting life of other cultures.
Yeah.
There you go.
And when they make food for humans, it's always plastic, synthetic replica stuff, not the actual food.
Yeah.
And they're confused. And the guy's saying, "I'm gonna starve on your planet. I'm starving here." They don't know what starve is. They've never heard of starvation. They don't know what that even means.
Crispy says he's watched the first season of Foundation. Yeah.
Yeah, the first episode is based on part of the book. But then after that, it's the players changed everything. Just like in Traveler, the first day of your Traveler session, it's January 1st, 11:05. And after that, the players just change everything.
Why is it always 11:05? Back to that again.
Here, go up. What was that picture? We're looking at an earring. We're in a store of some sort with giant screens on the outside of the building.
So there are different societies based on barter instead of monetary systems. Things that you could probably think about, which might make something a little different in like the a race or a population or a society has grown. Some stuff like that. Making things subtle changes like that make your players go, wait a second. They don't want our money? No, they want to trade for stuff that you actually have.
Yeah,
barter.
Barter.
Yeah, like there's no exchange.
I still run into coworkers who just want to barter.
Yeah.
I'll do your roof.
Yeah.
I'll fix your car.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's a lot of regret after. No.
Yeah, it usually is regret.
When will you get this done?
Yeah.
A couple years from now.
Yeah, some coworker, she emailed me the other day. I haven't talked to her in years. She says, I have this ludicrous proposition. She wants me to travel in a U-Haul. She's gonna pay for everything. She just needs a driver.
Okay.
So I'm like Mad Max, right? I'll haul that diesel of yours, But I'm not gonna do it.
No.
I'm not going on it. No, I'm like C-3PO. No more adventures.
What was it? What was the trade? So she was gonna barter?
No, she was. Yeah. She says pay. I'll pay. A vegan's gonna give me a bunch of stuff I don't want. Bunch of hemp or something. I'll pay you in hemp. No, I don't think so.
Oh, that's funny.
I have. Do they even drink soy, or is that toxic to them?
I'm not sure.
But anyway,
soy.
It's some food thing. No, I'm not. I'm gonna be hitting every drive-through along the way. You're gonna eat that?
No, this hamburger's so good. Yeah. Well, if I got to survive in this U-Haul with you all the way through, I may as well make it.
I have a feeling she's moving and she just needs someone to drive her there, and then I drive the thing back. Doesn't sound like fun to me.
Is she cute?
No. Oh no.
They rarely are.
I have a question for Crispy. If I can remember what the question was. It has something to do with Foundation. Oh, the mule. Does the mule show up yet on the TV show? Will the mule even be in the show? Do you think?
He should
We're waiting for
Flying soon.
the reply. How fast is light travel on the internet?
On this thing, man,
Bounces off orbits and
could
things.
be about a minute.
Hopefully he heard my request.
Oh yeah, he has.
My query.
He will reply. Oh.
Not in the first season, but I think that they will introduce him eventually. Because that was the best part.
I'll have to check it out.
I mean, I read all 3 books. I like the first book. I hated the second book. I like the third book.
I might go through like the everything after the first episode. Okay, I'll go through the first episode. That way I can get kind of like visualize who these
Read the book
people
first,
are.
so you'll get mad at the TV show.
Oh, and then I'll read I'll listen to the books because I like audibles.
Aye.
And then that way I have a image of what these people look like, and then I can go from there.
I mean, the book was like 9 little short stories from magazines, and they kind of put them together into books, like the iRobot series.
Yeah, I can't remember if I actually read some of it.
Crispy says, "Read the book.
Read the book.
You will read
the book. I can't. My eyes are so old.
No, well, YouTube has audiobooks of it. That's what I do. I just listen to the audiobooks now.
Yeah, that way I can
I got my book over there.
Play a game and I can listen to the audio and I can enjoy myself doing 2 things at once.
Oh, I can't. If I'm listening to the audiobook, that's all I'm doing. Because the minute I start reading or doing anything,
oh yeah,
I'm not listening. Yeah. I'm not listening anymore.
It's only certain games that I can play. Like it would have to be like No Man's Sky, where it's not actually, nobody's actually talking to me or anything. I'm just doing a thing and exploring.
I could be drawing. That's it. But if I'm typing a program, forget it. I'm not listening.
Oh yeah. If it's something that you're doing where you're typing something, yeah, I can't do that either. Cultural traits. Okay, so culture. Let's see if it gets into this.
Yeah, Crispy's right. The characters. Okay, for one thing, Asimov can't write female parts worth a dang. So the women in the books are basically June Cleaver. She makes the coffee. She lights cigars, whatever.
Right. Okay. Yeah. The modern 50s, 60s woman.
Yeah, the typical woman from the 50s TV show. Yeah. That's how they act in space. And then the guys, they just talk to each other. A few things, they make a deal, and then fast forward 300 years later. Those guys are long gone, and a whole new set of characters show up because the book takes place thousands of years.
Okay, it has everything in here that we were just dealing with on the on the traveler map. So
okay, what's xenophilia? Ooh.
Xenophilia? It's how you it's whether or not you're xenophobic or philic. So if you are more accepting to the spacemen coming down and visiting your planet, yeah, or these freaking aliens, we're gonna have to blast them.
What happened to just plain old prejudice? They can't use that word anymore? Prejudice?
I guess not. I don't know. They have diversity here, though.
Well, what was it Samuel G would say? Metropolitan. You're either metropolitan or you're not metropolitan. That came from the old days. Not the old days, but, metrosexuals.
Yeah.
Remember metrosexuals?
Yeah, metrosexual.
What happened to them? What happened to those guys? It's all trans women now.
It's gone.
Yeah. Bring back the metrosexuals.
Okay,
someone should clip that.
Yeah, I like that they're bringing this in, so it actually makes that traveler map a little bit more cohesive with you know, Traveler
This
Mongoose.
reminds me of another RPG. Is it one of those Worlds Without Number books that has this kind of stuff in it? I bet you there is a book for World Without Number.
Yeah, I'm not
Or
sure.
Stars Without Numbers.
I have
The
the
society
PDF. Yeah,
society books.
I have the PDF, so I'm not sure. But I haven't read it through. I'll have to check it out. Okay, cool. This was the main thing I was wondering whether or not they imported the Traveler 5 stuff into here.
Well, this is still a lot of this is still from Mega Traveler.
Okay. Yeah,
I
and
mean, did you see the symbols you were showing on the map earlier? Did you see those in this book, or no?
yeah, well, yeah. This is why I was. It's getting into the. Let's go
They
back
call
here.
it something
So,
else though, right? Or is it?
so they get into culture. They have what is it called? Where is it here? Nope, it's back down here. Because we start getting into the strangeness and all that stuff,
Yeah.
symbology, which was also on the traveler map.
Oh, it was.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Okay. I
The
couldn't read
unique,
the stuff on the Traveler map screen.
but it didn't give it gave different references to. See, did it give different references on here?
Because these are going to be pointed at the 2E information. So it's got to translate over well to this.
Yeah, so they're
stuff.
giving you a translation from the
because Traveler 5 has a whole different set of numbers to make stats from. So it does say T5. Oh, I see. There's a conversion for Traveler 5. I see.
T5. Yep, right there.
When I saw T5 there, I thought it was Tech 5. So that's Traveler 5. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, nice. Okay. So can't wait to get the book for that as well.
So the trade codes look about the same. I've messed with the trade codes because sometimes I think a garden world could sell such and such, but it's not on the chart, so I'll just add it in there.
And you have to keep in mind, even though it's a garden world, sure, you may have some spices and other garden variety stuffs from other planets, which might be wanted, like some spices that would mix well with this planet's, stuff like that. You have to start thinking that way too.
It's like it's not like a planet buys the stuff and then they eat it that day and it's gone. No, they'll put it on their planet and maybe sell some back to other planets. Who knows?
Yeah. And
spreads around.
Yeah, it also depends on how they can, does this stuff store well? Will it be able to last the 2 weeks that it takes to get to another star system?
But see, this chart has both high population and high tech. And then it has low population and low tech. Now, some of the charts in Mongoose don't have those 4 things. They'll have 2 of them, but not all 4. But Traveler 5 has all those things.
Right.
Traveler 5 has, is the planet a prison planet? Is it a dead planet, like a dead world that's been nuked over centuries from war and stuff?
Right.
But I don't see. Oh, and then the fluid oceans, that's not just water, it's any fluid. Yeah. So you got to take that into account because players will say, well, it says water. No, it's fluid. It could be liquid metal on this planet. Mercury, the place is covered in mercury, something like that.
That would suck.
Yeah. Yes.
Resource factor, infrastructure factor. So once again, dragging stuff from Traveler 5 again.
Yep.
And cool. That's
so. This is stuff that's not in the Mongoose, in the Mega Traveler book. Then, I bet you. Because,
modifiers.
the Mega Traveler book isn't this many pages.
Yeah, trade code. Well, this is a 258 page book, so it's pretty in depth, and we are about over 2/3 through, so we still have a few pages to go here. um, yeah, man, this artwork is just like honeycomb.
It's placeholder stuff. It's supposed
Yeah.
to be a star base or a starport or some sort.
Yeah, you'd almost, if you wanted to, you could take this PDF and throw in some good old AI artwork, and away you go.
Yep.
But the information is pretty cool because it does cross over that Traveler, Traveler 5 to bringing it into this.
Yeah, it converts it to Mongoose scale, so that's good. You don't have to think. You don't have to have two systems in your head going on at once when you're running a game.
Okay. A little bit more in depth on the starports. Well, this is kind of, but I guess we're gonna have some.
This is stuff that you may have seen in the GURPS book. Did you ever have that one?
No.
It's basically the trading book, free trader book.
Possibly stuff from the Mongoose 1 merchants and
yeah, that would be a merchants and cruisers.
The one that's just basically has the character classes in it, and then it gives you a whole bunch of extra stuff in there as well.
That one's Merchant Prince.
Merchant Prince, yeah.
The other one was the yellow book, was the spaceships for it.
Shipyard.
I have all of them. I have all of the first stuff.
Information on the high port, the down port. For those
space elevators. Does it have space elevators?
So the high port would be like your space station above the planet, and the down port would be like where you actually land on the planet, in kind of like an airport kind of a thing, except for spaceships. Because not every ship is streamlined.
Yeah.
So, you may have ships that are just big bulk, kind of the thing that Ripley was towing around with the Nostromo, and that thing wouldn't be something that you would put in the atmosphere, land on a planet. You would have things pulling off of it, like ship's boat that would haul the materials out of that refinery onto the planet. So that sort of thing. Stuff you need to think about when creating a feasible lost my train of thought.
Crispy says Stars Without Number has detail, but not as detailed as this book.
Oh, okay. And Crispy, you have the like the full version, not just the free version. I can't remember. I've seen Crispy's selection of books. He's got quite the collection there. I think Crispy should do a. Okay, he's got the full version. I think Crispy should do a video on his collection of books one day. That would be cool.
Yeah, the art is much better. he actually paid somebody to do the art, like an artiste.
Yeah, this would need an overhaul. This one.
What did they say back then? No expense was whatever. How's that phrase go?
no expense. That's what's his name, John Hammond quote from Jurassic Park. No expense was spared. No expense
yeah, something like that.
Something like that. talking about the food and everything that they had, and the kids are munching down. Um, branches.
Yeah, I don't remember who
Okay.
wrote the original book. If it was Games Digest or something.
The original book, like
The
Traveler
the Mega Traveler stuff. It wasn't made by Game Designers
Game
Workshop.
Designer Workshop. No.
I mean, it was outsourced to another company.
Okay. Um.
They would later make Traveler: The New Era. That was Game Designers Workshop.
Okay. That was the when they started to do the virus thing.
Yeah. And then Game Designers Workshop would close, and then a whole new company would make Traveler 4, and then that company would close, and then a whole new company would make Traveler 5.
Okay, I kind of like that they're getting into the different branches and the aspects of how they would be on each world, because sometimes you have a case where you got a bunch of characters and you say,
Space
okay, you all
Marines!
come from one planet, and can all these things exist on the one planet? So this is
To me, when you're in billions of people on a planet, I'm going to say there's going to be all kinds of governments on that one planet.
yeah.
But
But
if it's only 40,000 people, everyone's the same. Everyone's the same gene.
When you are creating characters and stuff, you're kind of wondering, okay, will this sustain, the type of character that this
I
guy
make the
wants
world
to create?
first. I make the world. I have the player make their world, their home world, or pick
Okay.
one from the map. And then we figure out how they know each other just by looking at each other's life events.
I let my players roll, and then I kind of figure out from what they've rolled, and I give them a choice of planet, system A, B, or C, or whatever, which would be the most suitable for his type of character.
Okay.
Because you'll have a character that maybe he wants to make a scout character, so then you roll up his thing, um, and then say, for example, he wants a scout that, but the planet that you all converge onto is maybe it's just a Tech 10 planet, so or a Tech 9 planet that you start off on. But
Yeah.
this guy came from a Tech 11, 12, so then you'd have to kind of gauge what which planet which system he actually came from. So
Yeah. I look at all the characters and then I try to figure out what would be a good setting for all of this and what tech level would it be.
usually I have it between 10 to 12 is where I say that technology level from what that the characters are familiar with. But it depends on what, if it's for my Glimmer Drift game, yeah, it's gonna be 10 to 12. You are kind of, that's the mean kind of median
Yeah,
technology level that they know of.
I go from usually 5 to 12. And then at the end, the twist ending is always you end up on Tech 0 or Tech 16.
So when you have
you've seen Mission to Mars, right? That movie Mission to Mars?
Mission to Mars?
Yeah, with Lieutenant Dan.
I think so. There's been so many of those, where they all go into wherever. Yeah, Mission to Mars.
They go to Mars. They all die except for I guess one guy. He
Right.
gets to actually meet. He gets to go on the rocket ship that the Martians built or something.
Okay, I'll have to
he
rewatch
basically he transcends. I think at the end of that movie.
Okay.
If I remember right.
Because there was so many of those movies that came out. There was one with Tim Robbins in it. There was one with
That's the one. That's the one. Mission from Mars.
Yeah. And then there was
He opens up his mask. Is he the one that opened up his mask?
It's been
there's
long.
not enough. We can't all live here, so he takes his helmet off. I can't remember if it was him or if I don't think Ron Perlman was in that one. Then you had the Val Kilmer one, the Red Planet.
Right, right. Yeah.
I never
So
saw that one. They're robots murdering everybody or some stupid thing.
yeah, or something like they all blended together because
Yeah, they
it
all
was
Hollywood, yeah, studios. They all. Oh, you're making a Superman movie? Oh, we're gonna make a Superman movie too. We're
yeah,
gonna call it Hancock.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, you're making a zombie movie? We're gonna make a zombie movie. I Am Legend or 28 Days Later.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah. But by the time you're run the gambit of watching every movie that came from there, it just blurs all together after a while.
Yeah,
After a
that
few
that chick
years.
from Fifth Element and all of her Resident Evil movies.
Yeah.
Which one? Which one's which? Same
They
with
all.
James Bond, like 25 James Bond movies. Which one was that exactly?
Which one is the one that had Jaws in it? Yeah,
You said like two of them.
yeah. Which one had the guy with the hat? The hat that would chop off everybody's heads?
Remember Barbie and Thumper?
What in James Bond?
Yeah, it was a James Bond movie. There's two girls named one was named Barbie and one was named Thumper. And
Uh,
they were gonna
that,
kick Roger
that was
Moore's ass.
is that Octopussy?
No, the man with the golden gun.
Oh,
I
okay.
think. I
Okay. I
think
That's what I mean. Like I knew it
it
was a
could be
Rod. It
spy.
was a
It could be
Roger Moore
it
one,
could be
but
Spy Who Loved Me or it could be Moonraker. But Moonraker had Jaws already.
yeah.
It was probably since I've never seen Spy Who Loved Me. I'm guessing it's the man with the golden gun.
Don't know. See if anybody else knows out there.
No,
Like I say,
Octopussy was the best Roger Moore film though. Maud Adams, was she the one in that? She had a gap
um,
in her teeth, I think. Then she got old. I mean, she was old when they made that movie. Barbara Bach was the replacement for her, pretty much. Then she got old.
oh, okay. Corsair base. So let's see. Corsair base. Pirates who occupied uninhabited regions set up a camp. Yeah, yeah. I have a lot of this going on in my section of space. Lots of pirates.
Yeah, Pirates of Dranax. And what's the other one? Oh, what was the other one? No, I'm trying to remember.
What was it? What's the name of the grav Gratica or something? It's in the area. I can't remember the name of it. I'd have to bring up the. That'll be some other time. I think it was Hunter Gordon wrote a book. I think it was on that, or was it? Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, I don't know. He had like 4 different books for T20.
But I know one of them was very specific on pirates, and it's in the Glimmerdrift region.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it had to do with the Heron Federation of Heron Federation, which is the Pirate Federation, and the main planet, which was kind of like where you would centralize everything, was called Granica or something like that. I can't remember. But
I
it
know
started
there's
with a
like
G.
a lot of the pirate stuff came from Varger books. That's too far forward, I guess. I don't even go to those
Yeah,
sectors.
it's a yeah. I mean, I'll have Varger. Varger is probably one of the more Varger or like a Simeon because there's a lot of Simeon. Um,
Uh, did you
uh,
ever play in the Spinward Marches?
yeah. We played a little bit in there.
I
Don't
have all
ask
the
me.
books. I have all the books except for the latest one for Spinward Marches, and I've never played a game or a one shot in the Spinward Marches.
Huh,
Never. It's
huh,
always in the core sector. There's tons of stuff to do in the core sector.
right?
And then, of course, the Soleimani Rim have to be there too.
Yeah, I've never, like I say, I've never had anything around the Earth or anything like that. I've always had it kind of like out in the nowheresville, where all the, like I say, Glimmer Drift to me is a cool place because it's got all these little pocket empires everywhere.
Oh,
And
see, I'm a huge fan of concrete planets like Star Wars.
Okay, okay,
What was the name of it? Coruscant or something like that?
yeah, Coruscant,
That's a concrete planet.
right?
So I'm a huge fan of that kind of stuff.
I mean, you could have that as well because the Glimmer Drift is like, okay, so you have two arms of the Imperial reaches coming in, one from the top, one from the bottom, and it's kind of like there's a big void, which kind of just
Like
makes this area, the Glimmer Drift, kind of
there's like
separate.
the lay sector somewhere around there.
Yeah, you have Lay Sector. You have the Duchy of Stoner, which is the remnants of the last Imperial, like the actual Imperial from
From that
uh
area.
yeah, before they were taken over and it became the new empire.
Oh, I see.
Okay. So there's a group called it's the Duchy of Stoner, which has the remnant, you know, nobles of that time, which still linger on, and they're kind of having their own plotting and thoughts of how they can get back into taking over the empire again, right? And
Yeah.
then you have the pirates, which are down further closer to the Soleimani reaches, which so you have a lot of cool stuff going on, like in the
You're
area.
gonna run into the Thousand Worlds, right? And the
Yeah,
Hive
it's that's
and the
that's
Hive
that's
Federation
that's
before you
still,
even get to
yeah,
the Sol system.
you still have no if you go south, then you either have the Hivers, which is a little further out, or you keep on going south and you'll, well, I guess not rimward, yeah, rimward,
Yeah, Rumor. Yeah,
forward. So you
Rimward.
keep on going rimward and you'll eventually hit Soleimani area, like actual, like the
Okay.
Soleimani Federation. But there is the empire has two arms coming out from either side, but they can't really reach that area, so it's all a bunch of little pocket empires, which makes it really cool because you have that good dynamic of, you can work for these guys or you can work for those guys, or if you start getting on the bad side of the Glimmer Drift reaches, you can always go to work for the remnants of the Shikikakar Empire, that which they erased actually off of the traveler map, which made me kind of angry.
Well, the
Uh,
second survey, third surveys will do that. They're
yeah.
updating the traveler map all the time.
So I think if I wanted to have like the old Shikikakar Empire show up again, I'd have to go ahead and take the timeline and bring it back a little bit.
Yeah.
Eh?
Well, sometimes they don't have a license to put that stuff on the web.
So
If I was in college and I made a sector for traveler, I'd say sure, go ahead, use it.
what else do
As
we
far
have?
as I know, they're not charging people to use the map.
More information on the surveys. Let's see if there's anything more interesting here. We're going into a repeat of the Z
Well,
system.
you have planet surveys, you have system surveys, sector survey. It can be a process. That looks interesting, sort of. What's the white haze though? What is that? Where's the light coming from in this scene?
I think they're just doing a blend, just
Making it white for the text. I would have had black space with white letters on it.
this painterly thing. It just does not do it for me. I mean, sorry, guys.
You don't like purple spaceships? What's wrong with you? Purple and green? What's that green blob? What is that? Some sort of rock?
I'm triggered by the purple. Sean.
It's a green asteroid, moss covered asteroid spaceship. It's healthy.
What's that? Crispy says the autistic detail. I
It's
mean, yeah,
it's not autistic. It's it's attention to detail. It's detail oriented. That's the word. Detail oriented.
yeah. I mean, it's stuff that you pull from. You don't necessarily have to use
Encyclopedias.
it. Yeah.
Encyclopedias are detail oriented.
Oh,
Dictionaries. I hope.
this is interesting. So, the empty hexes. What's in the empty hexes? What
Yeah.
happens if you misjump? It can't be just the end. We're stuck in the middle of nowhere in space, but there could be some cool stuff in there because nobody's ever
I
actually
remember
gone into empty space, right?
I left a game for 1 week once because the plan for the session was to travel across the Great Rift or something in the game.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do the oh no, we're stuck and we have no jump fuel left. So I bailed on that session and I just came back when I heard that they made it across and they were at a regular planet. That's when I came back in. And
Okay.
sure enough, they they did the thing where they froze themselves and the ship just drifted and eventually got to the other side. It was like 1,000 years later or somebody found them. I can't remember. So I'm glad I wasn't around for that session. I'd be going crazy.
Now, what they're doing here is, your empty hex may not be exactly empty, which,
It's just not mapped,
yeah,
right?
exactly. There
I would
could
hope it's not
be,
mapped. That's the whole point of the scouts.
yep. So rogue gas giants, yeah, never
It could
know.
be fog of war. It could be mapped by another alien race. But on your map, it's blank.
Yep.
It's not part of the Federation yet.
So I like that they put this in here, so it makes it a little bit more interesting. Something to put in there.
The
But
Cthulhu,
yeah,
the Cthulhu hex that moves around.
neutral stars, brown dwarfs, stars that you can, because of the distance and everything, you barely see it, or it just becomes a blur up against another star, which is more has more magnitude
Well,
to it.
what if you go to a hex and there's no star, but there's a world there? What do you do?
There you go. That could be a thing. It could be powered internally to keep itself warm, and maybe it's got a Dyson sphere
Yeah.
around it. Who knows? You
It
could do
doesn't
all
want to
kinds
be
of.
found. It's that moon from Space 1999.
There's a reason why it doesn't want to be found, Shauner. There's a reason. You could have all kinds of mysteries, with that kind of idea. What else do we have here? God, this is a book chock
No,
full of cool
but
stuff.
crispy, there are more detailed stuff like this for RPG sci-fi games. This is, I would say, this is easy on the eyes, and it's consumable, edible, reproducible, relatable to the players, without you sounding like some sort of weird science archaeology
Yeah,
transographer.
it gives the game master something to pull off of in order to kind of fill in the blanks.
Because you can get more detailed and read the books written for Traveler 3, which was what? The New Era? Those books. Power, was it Fire, Fusion, and Steel? Those kinds of books. I think they had them for Mega Traveler, but they made them again for New Era and for Traveler 4. Yipes. And then GURPS Traveler had its weird vehicles book that took forever to make.
Yep.
But see, I'm more of a planetary romance player. So I have to have Flash Gordon meets the Martian princess, and lots of domain stuff, lots of social interaction, a lot of social skills going on. And and you just kind of don't hand wave how he gets to Mars, but he just gets to Mars using the 1930s technology that they borrowed from Ming. The planet Mongo is like near Earth, isn't it? Isn't that a rogue planet?
It is. And you never know, there could be even more ancient technology buried deep beneath it as well.
Did they say
what
happened? What happened to Ming's planet at the end of Flash Gordon? Is it still there?
I don't know.
They need to make a sequel. It's probably still there.
It's probably mentioned.
I need to tell that guy who the guy who does the AI art on YouTube. I need to tell him, hey, can you do 1980s Flash Gordon, but a sequel happening now? I give him in the comments. I tell him what artists to teach or learn from.
Okay.
He has his computer learn different artists, and then he runs those little animated things that I post in the RPG Inspiration channel. So he did one about the NASA moon landing, and then he did another one. It was like a forbidden planet kind of a thing. It's the animation. It's the AI where the camera's just zooming in constantly, and the picture changes and morphs, and he says what style of artist to use and what time period.
Yeah, he's actually used some of your ideas.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll have to check.
He hasn't heard of a whole lot of artists. Other than what the AI already knows.
Right.
Like Sid Mead, he knows who Sid Mead. Everyone in their 40s knows who Sid Mead is. But no one knows who Ralph McQuarrie is, or John Harris, or John Berkey. Heck, most people don't know who Boris is, or Frazetta.
Yeah, Gamez, all those guys from
Mobius,
heavy metal magazines.
Wally Wood.
So cool! It does. It gets into some cool stuff that you could have in your empty spaces, which I like. Nebula.
Now this is different. This is like just random generation for a empty hex.
Yep. So you're not always, stuck for ideas. Full of stuff you can pull from. Profile forms, once again, more forms. And examples. Okay, here we go. Some equipment. We're getting into the final reaches here. Equipment, sensor pack. Yeah, something you would shove into the dirt and, take readings from.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff.
Check how many times the planets froze over. What is that? A survey pod.
Survey pod.
Anti-gravity or what?
Sent out. And
you shoot it out. You shoot it out of your ship. It is
grav. Yeah, it's grav, and.
Can you put a nuke on it?
Sure, why not? Just have to gut it of its some of its sensor package, and then there you go, nuke, mini nuke,
a photon torpedo nuke. No, what do they call those things in Traveler? Jump torpedoes. Back then, players are either for it or against it. Jump torpedoes or jump nukes.
Armored version for the covert operations.
Yeah, SG-1 type stuff. Send it through the portal. See what it sees on the other side.
Robots. I am V'ger.
Yeah, that's the robots from Black Hole.
Bob. Bob and Vincent.
Yeah, Vincent. I couldn't remember the other one. And there's Maximilian.
Yeah.
Okay, what is that?
Micro spy.
What is that? At first I thought, that's where the Kukri live. That's the deck inside their ship.
It's 3 meters. It's Tech 15.
Okay, so it's not the size of a
flyer. It's
small city.
It's a UFO, mini UFO.
All right. Please
promote.
please don't be a weed whacker.
It's the thing to it
Pick up
mixes
trash off the ground.
it, it mixes your drinks for you.
So it's a sentinel. Huh. That's weird. I guess it
Improve sensors.
it just goes around. How does it hop? Is it hopped? How does it travel? How does it move?
A certain amount of operating hours, drone interface.
It's just a probe.
Some extra things that you can have on it. Version of an environment spike. So I guess you stick it in the ground.
Don't know.
Read into that a bit more. Pod droid.
Yeah, this is more Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
I used to draw those things as a kid. Basically a floating thing. It's got two hands.
Yeah.
From the Krill universe. You know, the Krills had destroyed themselves eons ago.
We've all done that. We've all drawn that thing.
I still have all my drawings from the 70s. I should probably redo a video on that. Here's my drawings.
Is this convincing you to get the extra books for later on there, Crispy?
Well, I would recommend this one if you're at all interested in worlds.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, it's got lots of cool ideas. It kind of connects you to the Traveler map a little bit more.
This first edition Mongoose didn't have this book.
It spacecraft. So we have some new spacecraft here. The hazardous environment exploration boat. So this is all 24 tons.
Tech level 15. Is that okay? Do you remember what the tech level was for the scout ships? Are scout ships now obsolete?
We haven't gotten into the scout ships. I'm sure they'll have the scout ships in here. Different types. These are all boats and modular.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was a fan of the modular stuff because it saved on RAM when you wrote stuff on the computer. They didn't take up many squares on the deck plans.
Right. So I guess bit of a why is this out in the middle of here? Oh, just the glossary. Okay. Glossary, checklists. It's getting
more maps.
Some formulas. Yeah. Formulas you'll never use.
I mean, you'll use them just to, I don't know, monkey with, I guess. If you don't like their if you don't like their examples.
That'd be like what's his name? That other YouTuber.
The other one.
He's been doing a lot of like what was it? He was drawing a sector and he was drawing what was in it and stuff like that. What's his name? Man.
Can't remember. The voice actor guy?
No. He's an old guy. When you see his video, he starts his video off. It shows a picture of him. He's doing
your place at the table.
Yeah, him.
He wrote his own game.
Yeah, he was going through. He would be into stuff like this. All the you know.
Yeah, but this is digestible. This is meant to be mass produced by the common man.
Yeah. And like it says, you don't have to go ahead and utilize all these crazy. This is weird. You don't have to use it. You just
now that looks like an AI picture because it just looks good.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's not
got
muddy.
a lot. It's got a lot of debris in it. I would say, yeah, it's looking like something that AI would produce from a year ago, at least. Now the AI is just like does crazy shit. So.
Oh yeah.
It's massively improved since those days. Some designer notes and I guess we don't have any anything on the scout ships or anything on this one.
No, it's in the core book.
Yeah. Yay! There we go. The presentation is over. Neat. And he says, "You don't have to twist my arm. Very hard to convince me to buy more RPG books, especially his setting creation books like that." Yeah, this one I would say, yeah, definitely just for the information and once again, it binds together the Traveler 5 stuff that you find on the Traveler map if you ever use that. I mean, you don't have to use Traveler map. You can always make up your own stuff. So
you can still buy the old World Builders Handbook from Far Future Enterprises.
Yep.
Like $35 and you get the whole CD of Mega Traveler or something like that.
Yep. Yeah, that's a Far Future.
Farfuture.net.
Yeah, it's always good. Well, cool. Well, we got through another book.
You don't need T5.
Yeah.
If you have T5, you can convert using this book to Mongoose 2nd edition.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
It's great.
I guess. I have the Scout book for 1st edition Mongoose. Basically, you go out and you generate star systems that you travel to using the Scout's operations book, which is different than the World Builders. The Scout book just goes based on the core book, and then what the method, the procedure is for scanning a planet.
Yeah. I use a lot of those books are just gives me ideas just by looking through all the charts.
It's inspiration.
And that's
like how many moons does a planet have, and which moons can you live on? That sort of thing. That's what I'm interested in. Like in Star Wars, they go to Yavin, but they're not on Yavin. They're on the 4th moon of Yavin. That Aztec-looking planet with the rainforests. What was the name of that planet? Not Endor.
The 4th moon of Yavin?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't have a name for it. I just thought it was just the 4th.
The Death Star was this was in the first movie, I think.
Right.
And the Death Star was going around
the pyramid kind of things going on. They had the plant life and stuff. And
yeah, the Death Star was going around the planet and it was gonna blow up the moon.
Yeah,
that the rebel base was.
I love the computer graphics of showing the wedge that it was like.
That's sort of a jump mask kind of a deal if you think about it. Like if you're in a traveler ship and you need to jump, you got this big planet in the way.
Yeah.
But that was being used just for is basically their Mason cannon. Is it in range, and is there anything obstructing its view?
Yeah. It was because you couldn't. It was a good kind of visual, for the time, I guess, to kind of display. Oh, it's getting closer. It's getting closer. They're going to be able to.
Didn't they do it again in Empire Strikes Back? Did they do it again? No, that was the Revenge of the Jedi or Return of the Jedi. They do it again, but the moon is using something. It's beaming from this moon or planet, the force field around the new Death Star that's being built.
Yeah, it was a force field that was being projected from the planet. So
now, was that planet's name Endor? I can't remember.
Yeah, I believe that was Endor.
Was it a planet or a moon?
I can't
was
remember.
It in orbit around something, or was something in orbit around it? Did it have a moon and a Death Star in orbit around it?
The force moon of Endor?
Did the Death Star used to be a moon and it got turned into a Death Star?
Well, we can definitely see from the second Death Star that was being constructed, it was all mechanical all inside. They had to
Yeah,
go
that's true.
inside and make the thing fall down and crash and boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what happened? It crashed on the ground?
No, no, no. Well, it did it
And
crash
then it
on?
shows up in another Star Wars movie?
Can't recall. I I
Or
I
did the one from the Force Awakens, did that Death Star get shot down and blown up? The one that was like built into the mountain or something? I never saw the other three. I
yeah,
gave up. I gave up after number
yeah,
3. I gave up.
yeah, I saw the that the Force Awakens, and then it was like, forget it, because I didn't like it. It was a rehatch of the first movie. So
Yeah.
yeah. Crispy says, yeah, it was indoor. And main reactor was
Yeah, I
destroyed. Yeah,
remember
they
there was
they
like
shot it.
a lathe thing spinning,
Yeah,
and they
that was
shot it,
the
and it comes down. There's gravity, it falls or something,
yeah,
and then they're racing out before the
yeah,
shockwave gets them. And Lando can pilot that thing so amazing because it used to be his ship.
yep.
The last Star Wars movie, Natalie Portman died in it.
Yeah, basically yeah, the prequels.
Oh, the prequels is
Yeah, the three that
Red Letter Media hated those for reasons.
yeah, it was sometimes it was very he didn't have the actors pushing back on George on the way that he wrote the characters stuff. So, you know, when Luke was saying something, when Mark Hamill was saying something about the portion that they had taken out of the script because it was so convoluted and it was just exposition that he was spouting out. He had George change that because he was saying there's no way that no anybody would be saying something like this. So they had it stripped out. But I guess they didn't have anybody in, Natalie Portman, who, all these new actors, they weren't actually going to go ahead and push back against George's, the way that he makes the
Yeah,
characters
it
talk.
was all Yes Man working
Yeah,
for him.
yeah, yeah. So
So
when they,
everything got put into the prequels.
yeah. So when
The,
they were talking stuff, it was just like, oh God, I don't want to listen to, this is just, it was just terrible.
it's
It was terrible writing.
it's the talkie stuff
Yeah.
that we don't like in RPGs that have nothing to do with anything. It's just the teacup party nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, get on with the story already.
Well, Shauner, we did almost a 4 hour video. That's
Yay.
freaking crazy. All on a book and
I'm
unboxing.
used. I can talk about Traveler all day.
You're a madman, I tell you. He can, folks. He can talk all day.
I mean, a
about
game
that.
session is 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
And a lot happens in 4 hours.
Yeah, if you're doing a 4 hour, I only do like a 2 hour game max usually. Yeah, but
So that's too short for me because I'm watching your video and it's like it's over. It's like it's already over. But you do a campaign though. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that they're just little mini series thingies.
Yeah. I mean, if push comes to shove, I'll do a 2 or 3 part one shot because the players like their characters.
Right.
And they want to do more stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
but I start getting bored if after 3 sessions, it's like I can't do my twist ending because you guys want to keep going with these characters, so I have to think of a new twist ending for the next session. You will all die in the next session.
Well, my twists are always something that they discover. It's not like it's not like a twist ending where they all die or something like that, or
No,
they all realize that, oh, we've been in a simulation all this time. Mine are
no.
kind of like, mine are just weird, where they discover something and go, oh my god,
Yeah,
it
I like it,
makes
that
them.
one session where the guy he put on a helmet or he took his helmet off or something. He saw what the alien really looked like. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That was kind of neat, and you left the cliffhanger right there. No,
yeah,
my characters usually get killed early on, and then the players have to do a self-sacrifice. Someone has to stay behind, make sure that the others can escape. Aliens, the guy holding the grenade, and the duct, in the air ducts.
yeah.
That someone's gonna be that guy. Sometimes it's me. Sometimes it's the player. So at the end of a session, not everyone's left alive. Not everyone always dies, but someone always dies. We don't know who. Because we're playing Traveler. We're not playing,
Yeah.
you know, we're
It's
not.
not like I plan on everybody surviving or anything. It just That's just the way it happens. I'm I'll have things that could definitely kill the players, but
Who's the one guy, Gordo? Gordo, who plays he's basically the ghost
negotiator kind of, yeah.
negotiator. I want to see him uh, get his character knocked down a peg. He sees life through real lenses.
Yeah.
Now he has to survive.
Yeah.
Instead of having this comfort, he has all the time in the world to just ask anyone questions about stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, the earth is gonna crack in half. What do you do? What are you doing now? You're all going to die. Like,
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go ahead and have some supper here, even though it's like
me
9:30
too.
my time. So I appreciate it, Shauner. Thanks for popping on for this one. It was a
Yep.
slice as always. And
Yes.
thanks everybody else who's been, Justin and Crispy, everybody, RPG Grandma, and the rest of the gang, Mobius, everyone. Thanks for showing up. And anybody else that's watching this kind of stuff, cool. Thanks for popping in. I won't torture you with my ending. We will end it right here. Thanks again, Shauner.
See you
Everybody,
later.